Welcome back to Second and Short. It is Friday, December 6th, 2024. NFL Week 14 is upon us. We've got the final week with bye weeks in the NFL. After this week, it's full steam ahead. Every single team in action after this one. This week, we got 6 teams on bye, so not as many teams in action this week. Finally starting to get some action in NFL free agents, or NFL, MLB free agency. Got a couple of moves that have happened that are actually like relatively significant. We've got some big news on potentially Juan Soto. We might be hearing a result to that in the coming days. Got a lot of stuff going on. Winter meetings in 3 days as well. Now we've reached December as well. It's our first episode for the Thursday. Or is this the first episode of? No, this is the first Thursday episode or Friday episode of Second and Short in December, which for the Premier League means that we have a lot more games on like Fridays and Thursdays and Mondays throughout this month, as well into January. We get those for the Premier League. So lots to look forward to there. Got UCL Matchday 6 this coming week, and then we get a huge break from the Champions League. We've got 6 weeks between Matchday 6 and 7, which I believe puts us all the way to January 21st is the next time we'll have Champions League matches. So not much going to be going on there after match day 6, but of course we have to talk about match day 6 this week. Luke, how you doing today?
I'm great.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a while, even though we were on live stream last week.
Yeah. My last in-person final was today as we're recording, so all I have now is a assignment that I can submit online. So
nice. Yeah, I have to
we're just kind of cruising now.
I've got a 2-minute presentation to give tomorrow on a Teams meeting, and then I'm done. I graduate next Wednesday.
Very good.
Yeah, very excited. Nice. Very excited. Soon enough, I will be a Kennesaw State alumnus, which is fun. Scary that I'm old.
Yeah.
During questions time, I'm going to get into why I'm old, and I already kind of told Luke about my excitement over something I bought the other day. That makes me so old. But we got a lot to talk about. Before we talk about everything, you got to make sure you're subscribed on YouTube and turn on post notifications, like the video as well. Give us a comment. Go ahead and comment your best moment from Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And then, of course, if you're listening on the podcast platforms, rate 5 stars. Give us a follow on there. Follow us on Instagram. Stay up to date with everything we've got going on all of our Second and Short channels. As well as that, join the subreddit, r/2ND, A&D short. That is going to be where you submit your questions like Nathan did promptly this week.
Whoa.
Promptly. Nathan, well on time. I texted him about it about 1 o'clock. Got him posted by 2, I think, at the latest. So good work on Nathan's part. We will be answering those questions later today. But if you wanted to submit questions, you got to do it on the Reddit before about, 2, 3, 4. Our recording time gets a little bit fluid when we get into December and January because Luke's going to be back in town next week. Luke will be in person, in studio for all the rest of December, which is awesome. I'm excited for sure. I know Luke's excited, so we got a lot to look forward to there as well. So make sure you stay up to date with everything we've got going on. Today, you're going to be talking about NFL Week 14. Got some MLB offseason news to cover, of course. Got the Premier League, which is certainly a lot of conversation topics going around the Premier League right now, as well as the Champions League, because a lot of teams to talk about there that maybe not been looking too hot this week. Not a lot of great matchups in the Champions League, but certainly some teams that have some conversations to be had. And then we will round things out with questions time. Luke, is there anything we need to get into before NFL Week 14?
Trying to think. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think everything's pretty much covered. I can't think of any drama that's kind of happened recently, so
we have plenty of NFL drama we'll be covering at the end of this, but right now, let's talk about the games that are coming up this weekend, NFL Week 14. We'll actually talk about the games coming up in a couple of hours from right now. Obviously, you guys know the outcome, but we got a huge matchup here. Packers, Lions. Lions, 3-point favorites. They've already – the Lions are unbelievable. Let's start there. But
yeah,
they've got a lot of injuries, and it's been an issue. Like, we knew that they were getting hurt just about every week and they're winning games, but it's kind of like at what cost? They've got 13 players on IR. The next most of any team in the NFL is 7.
They've been banged up.
It's unbelievable. And, maybe it's just these guys putting everything they've got out on the field, but at some point you do need to start thinking about the health of your players and the depth that it's going to take to make a significant run into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Ben Campbell's kind of, he's one of those grit guys, next man up kind of guys. Yep. So I'm sure his mentality is instilled all across the depth chart. And it's been, they've been proving that all season long, essentially.
Yeah,
I mean, like, no hiccups with Aiden Hutchinson being gone, really. Like, I don't notice a difference in the team without him being
obviously
there,
the pass rush isn't as good, but sure, like, it's still working.
Yeah, it's still working. And that's not to discredit him. He's still, a huge factor in that team, but they haven't missed a stride.
No, not at all. They look great. And, there's some key inactives for both sides in this game. Obviously, Detroit has a number of injuries, but on the Packers side, no Jair Alexander, no Edgerrin Cooper, and no Romeo Doubs, who's still on concussion protocol. So that certainly causes some issues for them tonight. I like what I saw from Jordan Love last week. I think he's trending back into the right direction. The Lions, a little bit questionable letting the Bears get back into that game, but what a tremendous first half that they had. And then they win the game primarily due to the ineptitudes of Matt Eberflus, but they win the game nonetheless, and now Eberflus is out of town. But for Detroit, it's hard to say that they're not going to beat teams right now. Yeah, they're maybe not winning in commanding fashion against some really good defenses in particular, but they're winning games no matter what, despite all these injuries, despite what the other teams bring. They're just winning.
Of course, yeah, but I don't know. Something, of course, the Lions are on a tear, but the Packers coming in off of a 30-17 win over the Dolphins, and the Lions coming in after, like you said, a close game against another division rival in the Chicago Bears. The Packers have a pretty good opportunity to get one on the Lions, I think, in this game.
Yeah, I think the Packers lucked out last week a little bit just because the Dolphins simply can't run the ball. They haven't been able to run the ball against really anybody. Tua had a heyday in the passing game last week against the Packers. The thing is, this Lions team is so good at both. They're not reliant on the run game. They're not reliant on the passing game. But they also have an elite running game and a very good passing game, I would say. Like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, unbelievable what they're cooking up right now in the backfield. And, of course, Amon-Ra St. Brown continues to do his thing. Sam Laporta seems to be trending back a little bit. So I just think that what the Lions do so well is kind of stay balanced, and that's how they win games. I think the Packers sometimes – you get a little too reliant on Josh Jacobs here and there, or you get a little too reliant on Jordan Love making miraculous plays, and sometimes that makes you a little bit, I don't know, boring to watch at times. I think they can be. Obviously, they have the talent out there that's not boring, but I mean, like when it comes to the outcomes of some of these games, yeah, they're winning these games, and it's not necessarily in like the best fashion, in my opinion, but they're still winning games. I think this is a really hard pick. Because you do have to take into account the injuries in this game. But I just feel like still missing Jair Alexander is a big deal for Green Bay. So I think I have to still go with the Lions. It's so hard to pick against them. I think final score-wise, I'll say that the Lions get the win 27-20 over the Packers.
Okay, I think Jordan Love's going to get back into the interception column this week. I think he might throw a lot against the Lions. It's a division rivalry game. The pressure is going to be coming. And I don't know. I feel like it's a weird game to predict for Josh Jacobs as well.
Definitely.
I don't know if he'll explode. So it could end up being a Jordan Love, 50 pass game. So I'm going to take the Lions 31-21 over the Packers.
All right. Well, you guys already know what happened, so feel free to let us know how wrong we were in the comments.
What a Thursday night heater, by the way.
Yeah.
So excited for this to kick off the week.
Very excited. Very excited. And I'm not excited for this game. Jaguars versus Titans. Titans, 3.5-point favorites. Trevor Lawrence going to the IR, going to miss the rest of the season. He was already in concussion protocol after that hit last week that got Azeez Al-Shaair a 3-game suspension. But I think because of him going into concussion protocol and the Jags having just a horrible season, I think that's why he decided that he should go ahead and get a surgery on his shoulder. That's what's actually put him on the IR. He's in concussion protocol, but he's going to miss the rest of the season after he's getting surgery on his AC joint in his non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah, which very smart decision from him, because we have not seen we haven't seen a Trevor Lawrence this bad, I don't think, ever.
No.
His rookie year
was abysmal.
I feel like rookie year was abysmal, but
Yeah.
this just feels worse, man.
It does. 100%.
This just feels worse, because like it feels like, and of course this isn't the case, but it feels like he's already showing age. He is playing and has looked kind of like
I
older
can see what you mean.
quarterback.
I think he's just banged up.
So, yeah, and you know what? On the Jacksonville Jaguars side, your backup was a former first-round draft pick in Mac Jones. So it's
true.
not for how this season's been, it's really not the end of the world. I think there's more positives you can take out of Trevor Lawrence going on the IR than negatives, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, and he's doing what's best for his health, and it's going to make him come back quicker in next season. If he would have waited till he clears concussion protocol, he plays like what 1-2 meaningless games probably, and then he waits to get his surgery. Instead, he gets like a month and a half advance on getting this shoulder surgery, so he will have no problems being right back to training in like a couple of months because it's a non-throwing shoulder injury. I see no problem with him doing that, especially because the Jags are just not in any position to win games at the moment, even if he was healthy. On the Titans side, I'm not going to say Levis has figured something out, but he's looking better. Nick Westbrook-Akine, unbelievable touchdown run he's on right now.
Yeah,
I think it's like 5 games straight, which is just unreal. Trey McBride can't get a touchdown, but Nick Westbrook-Akine's got so many. The Titans are doing something. That's as far as I'll compliment them right now. They're doing something.
They just need to get themselves in a position to be able to use Tony Pollard the whole game.
Yeah, dude, he comes out like this, like last week, came out first quarter, I think in one drive, like first drive, they went 3 and out, whatever, he got like 1 rushing yard. Second drive, 20 rushing yards on the second drive. Nothing happens, and then all of a sudden they're down like 10 points and no more Tony Pollard all game.
Yeah. And
it's crazy.
But believe me, you do not have the receiving core or the quarterback to get you back in a game like that yet.
No. Like Ridley will have his
Will
big
Levis
plays.
Maybe.
Yeah. Ridley has his big plays every now and then, and Nick Westbrook-Akine has been a touchdown machine, but Levis is not the kind of quarterback that leads you to a comeback victory. And when you start the game by running the ball, or you start the game by passing the ball and not using the run game enough, you just close the door on yourself as soon as it starts, especially if you're playing a competent team. Now, the Jags, not necessarily a competent team. The defense has been pretty bad, and obviously the offense is bad. They're banged up. I don't know what to think in this game, but what I will say is the Titans have a pretty good defense, especially when it's healthy, and I believe L'Jarius Sneed should be back this week, so I'm probably going to go with the Titans in this matchup.
Yeah, that's fair, but I think what's making this a little bit of a harder pick for me is, not only is it a divisional game, but Mac Jones kind of came in and made it a game against the Texans.
Yeah.
I don't know if Will Levis is going to be able to outplay Mac Jones, to be honest with you. My Mac Jones sample size is a little bit small this season. So
that's fair.
I think I'm actually going to pull the upset. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars 22-17 over the Titans.
Okay. I'm going to go Titans 17-10.
Okay.
Just I'm not going to believe in Mac Jones. Sorry. All right.
I also wanted to mention that Jacksonville Jaguars running game is the most frustrating running game in the entire NFL.
They can't figure it out. Like, what's up with last week, Parker Washington legacy game? Like, out of nowhere.
Who is this guy?
Exactly. All All
man.
right, next game, Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins 5.5-point favorites. Look, if Tua continues to pass the ball like he does and they keep losing, I would, if I was Tua, I'd lose my mind on these running backs right now. You're barely. Mostert got 5 carries last week. That's the most carries he's had in like 4 weeks. Please stop just giving up on Raheem Mostert. I get that he fumbled the ball quite a few times to start this season, and I get that he's an aging running back.
Yep.
Lest we forget, at a point last year, he had a career. What was it? Yards per attempt? Yeah, a career yards per attempt that was the highest of anybody with like 100 carries. Like,
Insane, dude.
literally just give him the ball. Sometimes. Just give him a couple tries. Because,
Yeah.
Devon Achane is great at catching the ball and running with it. Doesn't really run the ball very well right now, and they're not really running the ball enough for it to matter. And then Jalen Wright only comes in when they're winning or losing by a lot of points. So please use Raheem Mostert because Tua can throw for 400 yards for all I care. You're not going to win the game still. It's still not happening. He's throwing for like 350 plus in like 3 straight weeks, and you're still not really winning games. And you got blown out last week. The defense sucks.
Yeah.
The defense is really bad.
Defense sucks. Yeah, I think though if I think the Dolphins could beat the Jets with a similar game that they had last week.
The Jets
Definitely
are way worse. 17 points for the Dolphins would definitely get them a win against the Jets right now. This Jets team is
hot garbage.
Maybe the biggest swing and miss in like recent history by a front office.
I think you're right. Yeah.
And obviously
right
they believe it because they fired the head coach and then they fired the GM. So
yeah, because I mean you could make a like an offseason comparison to when the Bucks got Tom Brady, and then you kind of had like a super team build afterwards, and the Jets have completely flopped, and they should not have fired Robert Saleh.
No, it's pretty clear to this point it was not a Robert Saleh problem. It was definitely an Aaron Rodgers problem, I would say.
And as much as I love Devontae Adams, Grayson, he might be the biggest doofus in the NFL. I mean, just totally fucked himself over in career decisions because this is horrible.
Look, I'm telling you guys, I'm telling you right now, if you hitch your wagon to a guy who has believed in Nathaniel Hackett for this long, you fucked up.
Yeah.
Stop chasing Aaron Rodgers. Me and you are both huge Aaron Rodgers fans. Stop.
Yep.
Just stop following him. Stop whatever.
Yeah.
He's not the guy anymore. Look, we saw, I like that you brought up the Brady Buccaneers thing, but there's a bunch of other examples of this as well. I would say that Phillip Rivers with the Colts went better than whatever the fuck's happening with the Jets right now. Clearly, Peyton Manning with the Broncos went better. They won a Super Bowl. There is so many examples of a relatively old or aging quarterback making a move late in their career and still being successful because the franchise they join has the players or puts the players around them to be successful. Aaron Rodgers is the one who's not successful right now. That's the biggest difference between the Brady and Peyton and Phillip Rivers. Those are just the 3 on the top of my head right now. I'm sure there's others, but that's the difference in my eyes to those situations is that the quarterback wasn't the problem when they weren't winning. Rodgers is the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. God, it hurts that you're saying that. I don't know
sucks.
If I'm ready to have this
conversation. It really sucks. There's an Aaron Rodgers jersey in my closet right now.
Okay, I want you to argue against this point. What about the point of Aaron Rodgers' receivers are not on the same page as him?
Is that still? I guess is that still not a Rodgers problem?
Well, you could argue Devontae Adams joining the team.
It
should
definitely
have been on the same page as Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Devontae Adams, I think, ruined the dynamic that they had. Garrett Wilson should be wide receiver 1.
Yeah,
he really should. He is talented enough to do so. And to me, Rodgers and whoever else that pushed to get Devontae Adams to New York just kind of spit in Garrett Wilson's face. Because Adams stepped in and immediately was the first option for Rodgers to throw to.
Yeah.
So Garrett Wilson can have his good games, and Davante Adams can have his good games, but the wide receiver dynamic, that sure, it wasn't working necessarily, but if you would have added, one bona fide wide receiver 2 at the deadline, and maybe went and picked up somebody else, or maybe gotten somebody in a trade involving Mike Williams, like so many different things they could have done that didn't involve going out and getting a fellow wide receiver 1, because you can't have 2 wide receiver 1s. Ask T. Higgins. I think he questions his life every week.
I mean, the dynamic of Chris Godwin and Mike Evans has worked. Don't call Chris Godwin a wide receiver 2.
He's not.
Okay.
But you can see how, over the years, Chris Godwin is the one that gets overshadowed. Somebody has to get overshadowed in those positions.
Yeah. I would say this year being the only outlier. Mike Evans is kind of...
Yeah, but also
I would say
injuries
a little bit of a
kind of throws everything off.
Yeah.
Evans is back, though. Last week he had a good game.
Yeah. All of this to say 27-17 Dolphins.
I'm going a little bit more.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go 34-10 Dolphins. The Dolphins don't want to fuck around in a division game. Even though they're not very good, they don't want to fuck around in a division game. I think it's gonna be a blowout. All right, a game that I just simply don't want to talk about. Falcons-Vikings. Vikings, a 6-point favorite. Racing. Yeah, dude, the last thing I want to do right now is talk about the Falcons. Kirk Cousins just... You got to leave me alone, buddy. You just stay away from me and my franchise for a little bit, please.
Is it Michael Penis time?
Dude, I was about to say some shit that would have 100% been clipped. I think I'm ready for Michael Penix. I need to see a little bit. I need to see a little bit of Michael Penix. I'm going to keep making sure that I say his first name with what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
If Kirk doesn't stop fucking turning over the ball, I'm going to lose my shit. 3 or 4 games, 11 turnovers. 7 of them are interceptions. It just can't happen. It can't. And this is what irks me the most, is looking at the schedule before the season started. We're supposed to be in the midst of the easiest part.
Yeah.
Of the schedule. Obviously, the Vikings and Buccaneers or the Vikings and Broncos are a little bit different, and we have the Commanders down the road as well. Those are 3 teams that look a whole lot different than you probably anticipated at this point in the season. Nonetheless, the Falcons, based on what we saw early in the year, based on what we saw as recent as a month ago, should have been contending in these games. Instead, they're a 6-point underdog against the Minnesota Vikings team with just the most incompetent offense at times.
Yeah.
But they're not worse than ours. I can't sit down and enjoy a Sunday of Bijan Robinson killing it because Kirk Cousins is throwing the games away.
Yeah, it's brutal. Like a 4-point loss where Herbert didn't throw a touchdown, but also didn't throw a pick.
Yeah.
But then you look at the other quarterback in that game, and Kirk threw 4 picks and no touchdowns. Like that is literally the reason.
Yes,
that's the
thing.
Other reason.
Okay, last year and this year,
oh man,
as of this week, 6-6 both years. But I simply will not place a ounce of blame on Raheem Morris whatsoever. I will not put a single ounce of blame on Raheem Morris for this. This is a Kirk Cousins problem. Early in the year, some of those offensive miscues that happened at the end of some of these games, I threw on Zach Robinson, and I would probably still hold him to it. I think he's gotten better as an offensive coordinator. I don't have a problem with the play calling. I have a problem with Kirk Cousins the second he gets tapped on the back, just throwing a desperation pass. He threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen against the Chargers, where he just floated one into the end zone for 3 defenders to catch while Kyle Pitts stood there looking around like, who the fuck are you throwing to? It was unbelievable what Kirk Cousins was doing in that game. And there's nobody to blame right now for how the Falcons are playing other than Kirk Cousins. Especially last week's game. Yeah, Younghoe Koo was bad, but shit. Oh my God. Just bad. Dude. So bad. The Vikings, on the other hand,
cannot walk around the street.
No.
Right now.
Obviously we didn't talk about this on the live stream because that hadn't happened yet. We did talk about it on Monday's episode. There were people tweeting his address, which is not okay. Not okay whatsoever. No. But that's a sign people aren't happy with you, if I had to guess. Because I also saw Azeez Al-Shair's address. So, 2 people, not a lot of people are happy with.
Well, on top of that, the Ravens fan beating up the Commanders fans. His address got released.
Yeah. A lot of people releasing addresses. Not funny. Not a funny thing to do. I'll put that out there right now. The Vikings are odd to me. Last week, you could have won in commanding fashion, I believe, if you didn't bench Aaron Jones for the second and third quarter, just because he fumbled the ball twice in the first quarter. My thing is, okay, you have one of the most consistent running backs in the NFL this season, okay? And so he looks bad in the first quarter. And then we take him out of the game. We bring him back in the game. And he immediately makes an impact by scoring the game-winning touchdown. Yes, he dropped it. And then he got another chance, caught it, scored the game-winning touchdown. My thing is you probably wouldn't have been in a scenario where you need to score a game-winning touchdown if you gave him more than 5 carries. That's, I get Kevin O'Connell wanted to send a message, sure. But, if you just play your guy who has been playing so well this season, maybe aren't in that position to end the game.
No, and Aaron Jones is not the running back that deserves to be pulled for fumbling a football.
No. That's something you do to like Tyrone Tracy. Who needs to be. It's there's some moments where it's like, dude. Maybe needs a benching.
But yeah, when your backups are Ty Chandler and Cam Akers, but to be fair, had a good game, but like
don't get me started. I love Cam. He's a Seminole for life. He is a joke. He is a fucking joke.
Oh man.
What do we think score-wise?
Weird game.
I'm so done with the Falcons.
It's all right.
You're gonna hear me say a ridiculous score. I'll just say that.
Okay. Vikings 26, Falcons 13.
Nice. I'm gonna go Vikings 24, Falcons 9. It's gonna be a touchdown, missed extra point, field goal. That's how low I am on Younghoe Koo. I think he'll make a field goal and miss an extra point. All right. Maybe. Actually, no, the Saints are the redeeming side of this game. Saints -4 against the Giants. Still getting Drew Lock. Tommy DeVito's still not 100%, limited at practice today, but I think we'll remain with Drew Lock as the starter. Doesn't really matter. Saints are fun-ish to watch. Alvin Kamara's fun.
Fun-ish to watch.
Alvin Kamara and Valdez Scantling. That's it. MVS, though, his touchdowns are getting shorter every week. Last week, I think it was a 28-yarder.
Man, the Saints love that deep ball because as soon as Rashid Shaheed kind of stopped and fluttered out, it became the Marquez Valdez-Scantling show.
Yeah.
So, I think it's an interesting tactic from this team.
I think it's also that Derek Carr realized he needs to stop murdering his wide receivers.
Yeah,
in a video game.
He's doing that a lot to Chris Olave this year.
Yeah. And guess who's not playing right now?
Exactly.
Also, Taysom
Chris
Hill.
Olave better have a full career.
Taysom Hill got wrecked last week.
Ooh,
so he's
that
done.
Was so hard to watch.
Yeah. He's out.
Yeah. It's got to be the end of his career, right? No way he comes back from that.
Might be. We said that about Nick Chubb. He certainly isn't good, so maybe his career is over, but he's back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Giants have what 0% chance to win this game.
Yeah, probably.
Alvin Kamara's going to run for like
Probably.
120 and a touchdown. And this game's going to be over in like 25 minutes because Tyrone Tracy's also going to be running the ball the whole time. And it's going to be like
rest in peace to
21-7.
Yeah, I wanted to say rest in peace to Tyler Nubin, Fabio Carrique, Blake Neighbors. We'll throw him in there,
Yep,
and
he's questionable.
Tyrone Tracy Jr. Because the Giants. I'll give it to them. At 2-10, they have they have some players I love to watch.
Yeah, it's just they're on the Giants.
They're horrible. Brian Dable, get him out of there.
He's got to gain more weight. Get the weight. Put the weight back on, dude. I'm sorry.
We need to. We probably need to call Tom Coughlin at this point. Maybe Eli Manning.
Gruden.
Maybe. Yeah. I don't know about him.
Just don't give him access to an email.
He is perfect for Barstool.
Oh, dude.
Perfect.
I lay awake at night and feeling nicey is just coursing through my veins.
He's
the best. Love Gruden so much.
I really hope someone at Barstool turns him away from cocaine, though. I hope that his addiction gets stopped. You don't think it should?
No. For public purposes, yes. Should not be doing it. But also, when he's fucking up sweating at 3 a.m, jerking off to fucking Azeez Al-Shaair, hitting the shit out of Trevor Lawrence, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm not gonna stop what happens in the Gruden household. Like him making that. What did he make? Like tacos on like in a TikTok video with his wife. That video was amazing. He doesn't even have to be doing football.
No,
he can do anything right now, and I will give him my undivided attention.
Yeah, shout out to him saving his own career.
Yeah,
because he's done it in a good way. Yeah. But dude, just kind of like to reflect now that we're talking about it. Do you remember the contract that he signed with the Raiders back then?
Yeah,
that would be crazy even for 2024.
Dude, you know how amazing he was on Monday Night Football?
I know.
Him and Sean McDonough were an awesome pairing. I'll never forget this game. I bring it up probably kind of all the time. When Marcus Mariota threw that touchdown pass to himself in that wild card game against the Chiefs, Sean McDonough and John Gruden were on the call. I'm like 90% sure.
Yeah.
That was just a fantastic moment in time.
Underrated tandem.
Yeah. Sean McDonough. I love Sean McDonough at all times, bro. Losing his voice on a college football game is just the best. God, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
I said 21-7. I don't know if you gave a score prediction. 21-7 Saints. I said it a little bit earlier. But
I'll match you on that. I like that score a lot.
Yeah. I do as much as I hate the Saints, I do like their interim head coach, Rizzy. He's gritty for sure. That's the best way to describe him.
Rizzy's gritty.
Yeah. All right, Panthers, Eagles. Eagles 13-point favorites. The Eagles are fucking hot right now.
Yeah, they are.
They have a chance to clinch a playoff spot potentially this week. It'll take a lot of falling dominoes, but they do have a chance to clinch this week with a win, and a lot of teams losing, primarily the Falcons.
Yeah, the Eagles couldn't have had an easier division path either. Like, you have the Cowboys completely fell apart, and the Commanders do not have a defense.
No, not at all. Luckily, they're still finding ways to win every now and then, but certainly not where they'd like to be with the way they started.
Snapped a what, like a 3-game losing streak with the win on the Titans?
Yep.
But, this Eagles team, man, I don't get it. Like, There have been points like the wild card going into the wild card game last year where like this team was just not even on rims. They were Flintstoning it.
Yeah.
At the end of the NFL last season.
They were in a little tight car.
And then like the beginning, and then like a little bit like into the beginning of this season, like a lot of people are still kind of like having their doubts about, Sirianni and just kind of like what they're doing systematically. I have no idea what to expect from this Eagles team. I just know that they're red hot right now.
I have to credit either, whoever it was, Howie Roseman or you literally just said a name, Sirianni, whoever it is that kind of led on who their coordinators were this year. Utmost respect, because Kellen Moore has done fantastic things for this offense. Got to give him a lot of credit. And Vic Fangio took what was one of the most embarrassing looking defenses last year in that second half of the season and turned them into an elite defense with two draft picks? It took 2 draft picks on the defensive side of the ball, and all of a sudden they look amazing. That defense is phenomenal. Quinyon Mitchell was perfect for that defense. Cooper has been a fantastic player, filling in, getting in rotationally. He's done a lot of great stuff. I absolutely love what they're doing with this defense right now. Shout out to Vic Fangio, because he's obviously an experienced guy in this league, but doing great work for Philly.
Even those young guys, too, like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on the defensive line are just ridiculous. And Nakobe Dean, the Georgia linebacker,
awesome.
finally breaking out this year. They just look great. And then on the Panthers side,
I like
we're
what I'm
starting
seeing.
to see a little bit of some rhythm from Bryce Young. And
I like what I'm
Chuba
seeing.
Hubbard kind of looks usable.
Yeah, I'd like to see Jonathan Brooks get off to a bit of a start here, but still kind of easing him in, it seems like.
Yeah, and Adam Thielen's back. I don't understand how he is good on this football team at this stage in his career. I don't get it. I don't get it.
I don't either. But you know how fucking awesome it would have been if the Panthers pulled that off last week?
Oh, I know.
God,
I know.
Shout out to Baker for winning that game for the Bucks. But damn, they had a shot, man. They really did. They really had a shot.
Yeah.
And they fumbling in overtime was brutal.
You fucked yourself when Rachaad White and Bucky Irving turned into David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs for that game. That's kind of
Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving's on a generational run right now.
Dude, he is incredible.
Ever since that bet on the 3rd and long live stream didn't cash that I put on Bucky Irving over on rushing yards, ever since then he's been unbelievable.
It's been over.
Yeah, I love Bucky Irving so much. So much fun to watch, dude. What a great draft pick that I absolutely slept on. I did not love that draft pick, but huge pickup. I
had never even heard of him.
What are we thinking?
Until he started playing.
What are we thinking score-wise here? I can't decide if I really do think the Eagles would just run their shit or not. They're going to win. They're probably going to cover 13 points. But I don't know if the Panthers have the offense to beat the Eagles defense of all defenses.
Yeah. I'm going to go 28-17 Eagles.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to go I like the 28. I'm going to go 28-13 Eagles. Okay. Get a little bit of kicking action. I don't know if Bryce has the fervor to get through, especially in the red zone. Yeah, had to throw out a good word there. Okay, let's talk about your team. Browns, Steelers. Steelers -6.5 favorites. Alex Highsmith should be returning to the lineup, is what Mike Tomlin said. What are we thinking right now? The Steelers are hot, but Jameis Winston, you never know. You never know.
Nah, listen, I was scared going into Thursday Night Football in Cleveland with the snow. I'm not scared about this game. God, I can't tell you, dude. Myles Garrett this season with the trash talk with TJ Watt leading up to the Thursday night game where he said something like TJ Watt had to apologize to him for like maybe not saying anything about Defensive Player of the Year, which is just fucking credible. Myles Garrett is the new Vontaze Burfict. He is cemented that status for me. I cannot stand that guy. Fourth AFC North game in a row for the Steelers. I can't even describe to you how my body feels physically right now. I'm worn out from these games, brutal. Grayson. I'm worn out, just like the team.
So you're not afraid of Jameis Winston after he threw for 497 on the Broncos, and he did throw 6 touchdowns. Just 2 of them were the Broncos.
Yeah. No, I'm not worried about it at all. We have a way better defense than Denver. With Alex Highsmith coming back too, it's going to be tough. Yeah, no, I think the Steelers don't play down to the Browns this time. I think we win quite comfortably.
Yeah, and I think, Jerry Jeudy was such a big part of that Browns game. you don't have to worry about that because Joey Porter Jr. is just going to hold him all game.
Bro, Joey Porter Jr. is the most slept on corner in the league this year.
Give that man.
He is incredible.
Give that man oven mitts so he will not hold wide receivers, please.
Dude,
Last week was sad. That was a bad showing by Joey Porter. He was holding the fuck out of T. Higgins all game.
Yeah, and
he got called like 4 times last week.
The good news is Deshaun. What was I about? No, Minka Fitzpatrick. Sorry, I almost said Deshaun Watson. Minka Fitzpatrick was him and Jamar Chase don't like each other so much. So I think that kind of distracted Jamar Chase the entire game.
That's fair. What are we thinking here?
I don't know, how are you feeling?
I like what the Steelers have going on right now. I'll give them that for sure. What I really liked about last week's performance was that you guys recognize that the Bengals have one of the worst defenses in the league, and you just decided to run it up. Russ started off hot. Yeah. He stayed hot all game. You knew that this was going to be a game where the Bengals have the offense to beat really any defense right now. It does not matter.
Yeah.
And you guys offensively stepped up, which is something I haven't seen a lot of from the Steelers for years now. Stepping up offensively when you have to in a game where maybe your defense will get burnt because there's not a lot of offenses that show up and can do that. The Bengals showed up and looked really good against your defense, but you guys just kept putting up points consistently throughout that game, and that's exactly what you had to do to win. This game, I think, is going to be a lot different, of course, because the Browns' defense is much better. But the Steelers just have to forget what happened on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago. You have to leave that in the past if you want to win this game. And if you do, you probably end up winning this game, by double digits potentially. But if you keep in the back of your mind that if the Browns keep it close, they might win just like they did a couple weeks ago, then you're screwed from the start.
Yeah, and one thing that I've kind of noticed is if you're not going to be a defense that's going to stop the other team from moving the ball or really even scoring, you have to be creating turnovers.
Yes.
You have to be. That's exactly what the Steelers did against the Bengals, despite having the Bengals just move the ball fluidly on us. And then going back to our offense, Russell Wilson throwing for over 400 yards was the last time a Steelers quarterback did that since Big Ben versus the Browns in the wild card game that we humiliatingly lost.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign, and we've put up 30 on multiple teams this year. Granted, not good defenses. None of them were, to be honest with you, but it's still something that we haven't seen consistently from this Steelers team in a couple years since, Seven was our quarterback.
I think that's you got to give some credit to Arthur Smith. I'll hand up. I'll give him some credit.
Yeah.
When you go into the week game planning, okay, this defense sucks. How can we put up as many points as possible? So you got to give some credit to him for how he's running the offense.
For sure. I'm going to take the Steelers in this game versus the Browns. 24 to, I'll give them 12.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
I still like what Jameis is able to do right now. Obviously it's not going to be anything close to what happened last week, but I'm going to go Steelers 24-17. I do think the Browns will play okay. Okay. Raiders Bucks 6.5-point favorites at home. God, the Raiders. Brock Bowers, it's pretty awesome. That's all I've got to say about them.
Bro, their record just does not do them justice, in my opinion. And you know how I feel about Vegas.
Yeah,
they are real. They have kept it close so many times.
They have. I'll give them that. I will give them that credit.
Times.
Yes. Aiden O'Connell can keep it close.
They always end up losing. Yeah. And I will admit, I don't know if Colin will admit this, but you were right about Aiden O'Connell, and Colin and I were wrong. We probably don't need to see Desmond Ridder.
Nope.
I think they're doing just okay with Aiden O'Connell.
Yeah. I tried to tell y'all. I tried to say it.
Outplayed Patrick Mahomes last game.
Yep.
Kind of.
I forgot that we even talked about that. I would have made Colin eat shit on the podcast on Monday.
Well, I'll eat shit for him.
Thank you. I'm sure he would appreciate that. Yeah, look, the Buccaneers, the Bucky Irving's Buccaneers, they're so good
Yeah.
in the running game. It's unbelievable. Rashad White has decided that sometimes he will be able to run the ball efficiently every now and then. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool.
But yeah, Bucky Irving has just blown me away. It's like the only thing I want to talk about with this team. Mike Evans is so back. Last week I think he had like 90 something and a touchdown. Baker looks amazing right now. You can tell that they are very well aware of the fight that they are in right now for the NFC South.
Yeah,
Because right now they're tied for the lead.
definitely.
It's just that we have the tiebreaker over them because we swept them already this year. But the Buccaneers don't care. If the Buccaneers just keep winning games, I assure you the Falcons won't. And this is a game where the Buccaneers are just so clearly going to win.
We're down bad for the Falcons.
Oh, it's bad. It's really bad. I can't enjoy like a day without seeing something about this Falcons team that just pisses me the fuck off.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards like an obvious Buccaneers win against the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders are going to keep this one close for some reason. And I think a lot of it is because the Buccaneers can actually run the football. I don't know if they're going to have a performance like they did, against the Panthers. That was a huge kind of probably outlier game for those two running backs. But they probably could still get like, I think 140, 150 is reasonable total among the team. That's still a lot, but yeah, I think I'm leaning more towards the Buccaneers in this game. I'm going to give them 30-13. I think it'll be a big one.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, just with the Raiders on the road, obviously they were on the road last week at the Chiefs, and they kept it close. And they kept things close they won on the road with the Ravens. But the other road games they've played, all of them are the ones that they've gotten blown out in this year. Most of the games they kept close were at home. So I'm going to probably stick to the similar path with you. I'm going to go Buccaneers 28, Raiders 6. I'm not feeling them this week. I'm not really sure what it is in particular, but I'm not feeling the Raiders this week. All right, into the 4 o'clock games. Only 3 4 o'clock games. Fuck off. I know why. It's because there's 6 teams on bye, but still, it sucks. Okay, Seahawks Cardinals. Cardinals 2.5-point favorites. Seahawks just can't figure out the dynamic of their offense on a week-to-week basis.
It's different every week.
It's so weird. One week it's the Kenneth Walker show. One week Zach Charbonnet gets like all the snaps in the red zone. One week Jackson Smith-Njigba gets like 200 receptions. The next week he gets 4, and DK Metcalf gets 90 targets and 4 catches. And I think the root of all these problems is probably still Geno Smith.
No.
Dude, DK Metcalf has been targeted so many times, and he has gotten overthrown, underthrown, or interfered with an ungodly amount of times. It's brutal.
Oh, man. No, dude, you and I are fucked having ASN and DK.
Yeah.
Our fantasy lineups.
Because Geno Smith I couldn't have asked for a quarterback that could throw to my fantasy players as much as Geno Smith. I just wish that it was a catchable ball.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Exactly.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Oh, man.
He finds new ways to make me hate him every week.
Yeah. And then on the Cardinals side, again, just overall much better team than what we saw last year. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yes. Well, since Call of Duty's come out.
Yeah.
Not looking good. Just saying.
Losing by 1 point to the Vikings, though, is really not all that bad.
No,
but
not
again,
bad.
I think you're missing out on James Conner. Where did James Conner go, Grayson? Where?
I'm not sure.
Is he going?
Because he'll
so
pop
weird.
up on a drive. He'll pop up in a drive and just get 35 of their yards on a drive, and they'll look good. It's just when they're in a close game, whether they're down or what, They give him no looks.
No.
And I understand because, yes, you want to pass the ball to keep yourself in a game. But at one point, you were up. You were up in the second half, and you weren't giving him the ball.
Yeah.
Why? Because then it came down to a fourth quarter where your defense just simply didn't show. Really, the whole second half, your defense did not show up whatsoever. And you just let the Vikings go. Shout out to Colin from the live stream last week. Johnny Munt touchdown. Crazy call. That was a crazy call. We talked about it on Monday's episode, but I wanted to bring that up to you.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. And Trey McBride still can't score a touchdown.
How did Colin know that?
I don't know. It was an odd call. But me and Colin watch these games every week together, and we've seen way too many instances where Jalen Naylor or Johnny Munt catches a touchdown for the Vikings.
Yeah, maybe Colin's trying to tell us something.
Maybe. You do know what that is now. You do know why we think his name is so funny now.
So obviously, like, you know, I ended up trying to make a joke about it whenever we were doing the live stream, but like I'm not gonna lie, I was genuinely surprised at how awful that was.
Yeah.
I did not think it was gonna be that bad when I looked it up on the old Urban Dictionary, but
yeah, don't look that up, guys.
Give me Cardinals 26, Seahawks 20.
Okay. I do like that score. It's very odd, and that makes sense for these teams. I'm gonna go Cardinals 23, Seahawks 21. Jason Myers has been ass kicking, so that's why.
Is it fair to say that this division gives us a lot of underrated football games?
It does. But
they get funky.
They okay, yes. I'll say that. I don't know about underrated, but they get weird. They definitely get
really
weird. They get very weird. Well, all three of the games in the 4 o'clock slate include teams in this division. So we've got weird games to talk about. 425, Bills, Rams. Bills are a 3.5-point favorite. Should they be more? They're unbelievable. That game in the snow just like if you didn't think Josh Allen was winning MVP, you forgot that he played.
Dude.
That conversation in our fantasy football group chat was the most unbelievable conversation I've ever seen. Where we had Saquon, defender. One person thought Saquon because he's dumb enough to think so. And
hey, I will admit, I'll go along with him. I think it would be the coolest if Saquon won.
Sure.
I'm kind of pulling for him to win.
Sure. He's not gonna.
Yeah.
Whether he deserves it or not, whether he rushes for 2,000 yards this season or not, first of all, he's not beating Dickerson. That's not happening.
No.
He would need like 300 carries to finish the season to get to that point. It's not happening.
Yeah.
But even if he rushes for 2,000 yards, it's not like there's a precedent. Derrick Henry already did that and didn't win MVP. Tom Brady won fucking MVP that year. Yeah, I think he didn't win it either. And I don't know if AP. No, AP did. AP did win MVP when he did it. But nonetheless, Saquon is not winning MVP. And Lamar Jackson has been great. Don't get me wrong. But Josh Allen's been unbelievable. He's not turning the ball over, which is like the first time ever. He runs the ball a lot less, but he looks better doing it right now. He's not getting hurt. He's not getting banged up on these runs either, which is the best case scenario. And he's doing it with a pretty weak receiving core, in my opinion.
Tell me about it.
Like, Amari Cooper hasn't been all that since he got there. Keon Coleman has been fine at times. He's shown flashes, but it's not all there yet. Khalil Shakir is pretty good. I'd say he's the most consistent piece of it. They can't really find any kind of dynamic between these two tight ends.
No.
And James Cook is awesome. But and Ray Davis, what a great draft pick. Ray Davis is great. He was awesome last year at Kentucky, but still, I did not expect him to be this good at running back. They're just so much fun to watch. It's unbelievable how much fun they are to watch. They've already won the AFC East. That's
Congratulations.
crazy.
The horrible division. Yeah, 13 complete passes and 35 points is just not a Bills game. Just not a Bills
No.
game. But Josh Allen, like you said, has been unbelievable, and that um, conversation that we had in our fantasy group chat was it just could not have been at the more perfect time because I woke up the next morning and I started scrolling through Instagram and I was like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. This Josh Allen, yeah, he's MVP,
Yeah.
man.
Well, it's like me and
For
Colin were
sure.
sitting next to each other while this conversation's going on. And I go, what? Why has nobody said Josh Allen? And Colin's like, oh, yeah, nobody has. And I'm like, you guys are idiots. Like, what are we doing dying on a hill for a running back who's never going to win the award this year? And
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, who's just clearly been the second best quarterback. I think the only
Yeah.
reason that conversation was happening and nobody said Josh Allen is because it was the 4:00 games and Josh Allen hadn't played yet. And so nobody was
Yeah.
even thinking about him. And then, of course, I brought it up and everybody's like, oh, yeah. He was literally the betting
Hilarious.
favorite while everybody was arguing. I even made sure to check. The Rams are fine. Maybe not. No, actually, I think they're worse. They're worse than fine, in my opinion.
Really?
That win over the Saints doesn't do anything for me. Me and Colin talked about it on Monday. It was the quickest game ever. I swear that game was done by like 6:30.
Wow. Yeah.
Like both teams ran the ball very well, and the clock had just winded down all the way through. Matthew Stafford
Yeah.
is just boring right now. I'm gonna just keep saying that he's aging. This is the aged Matthew Stafford, and the Matthew Stafford who has accumulated just the most intense injuries throughout his career, and
Yeah, that's a good
numerous.
point.
This is the result of that.
But
He still threw for 2
you know
touchdowns.
what? I was about to say you can have good games when you don't turn the ball over, throw for 2 touchdowns,
Yeah.
and Blake Corum and Kyron Williams both have really, really solid games.
Yeah,
So,
Kyron best performance he's had in probably months. 15 carries, 104 is insane. And he had a touchdown.
Yeah,
He had 15 carries, 104 with a long of 17. Like
it's a good.
that's insanely good efficiency for a running back who
Yeah.
had no extremely big plays. And then Blake
But
Corum was
it
pretty good in
almost
backup as well.
it almost makes you wonder though if he's averaging 6.9 and Blake Corum is averaging 5.3. Why aren't they running more play action on the second and short?
Good plug right there. Well,
But seriously, like why
and I
doesn't
think
Matthew
they
Stafford have
are.
more yards in this game?
They are running play action.
So
But Stafford, like, I don't know. It's weird to see Stafford complete 14 passes for only 183.
yeah.
It doesn't seem right. And then the fact that he had 10 incompletions is a little bit off as well. It's odd to see the Rams not passing at volume with this kind of team, but I think it's coming down to they have to play to the strengths of this team right now. And the strengths of this team are short passes because Stafford just doesn't have the downfield accuracy and he doesn't really have I wouldn't say stamina, but you don't want to keep him standing in the pocket for 5 seconds. He's got to get the ball out quick
Yeah.
so he's not getting hurt. And
Mhm.
I think that's just what it comes down to. Like Puka had 5 catches for 56 yards. Like they had the miraculous 46-yard reception for Demarcus Robinson. Cooper Kupp, 3 receptions, 17 yards. The best wide receivers on this team are being called upon to just catch the ball. That's all they need to do right now is just catch the ball. Don't worry about big yardage. If you can get the yards after catch, that's great. Stafford's just not throwing the ball downfield, and that's not going to be enough against the Bills. It was enough against the Saints because you ran the ball really well. The Bills will not let that happen.
And I don't know if I think it might be fair to argue that the Rams don't really have a lot of like deep yardage wide receivers. Like I would say
No.
that Puka's kind of a short to mid guy, and
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp's your master short guy.
They're
And
both
I guess
yards
he's a
after
little bit
catch
mid as
guys.
well. Yeah, and maybe that has something to do with it as well. But they're going to hit a massive wall in this game. I'm hoping, that we see a classic Matthew Stafford, like 55-yard attempt, 32, completion game
Yeah.
against the Bills, but I think that's going to be the only way you keep up, and I don't know if Matthew Stafford can, keep up with that in
Yeah.
2024,
Like
to be honest with you.
17 touchdowns, 7 interceptions for Stafford this season.
It's
It's
okay.
not
Like
good.
it's not the worst. It's
No.
definitely not the worst.
No, Gino has 13 and 12. He's the worst. No, Kirk's the worst, if anybody was wondering.
Uh,
Yeah, score prediction. What do you think?
38-21
Okay.
Bills take the Rams.
I definitely like high scoring. I think it's tied for the highest total of the week at 49.5. Oh, actually, Lions Packers tonight is 51.5, which is insane. But yeah, tied for the second biggest total of the week at 49.5. I'm gonna go Bills 31, Rams 20. I think the Rams
Like it.
will score a touchdown early and then try to stay in this game, but I think the Bills just pull away in the second and third quarter, and then the Rams get to kind of creep back in at the end and make it look a little
Yeah.
closer by the end of it. Okay, last 4:00 game, Bears 49ers, two teams that I would rather just not watch right now with the way things are going. Maybe we
49ers
get
blow caught.
an interim head coach boost for the Bears, and we see something out of Caleb Williams that's better than holding the ball in the pocket and then incompleting or throwing an incomplete pass as time expires. But I can blame his coach for that one because he should have called his timeout before the play, or told his
Definitely.
quarterback what to do. 49ers are a 4-point favorite, which seems absurd. I know it's a home game,
Yeah.
but fuck, like they suck. But then again, the Bears are 0-5 on the road, so you kind of gotta figure these things out here. McCaffrey back on the IR, probably going to miss the remainder of the season with a PCL injury. Jordan Mason also out this week, so Isaac Guerrero going to start at running back.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, Gray. I think the Bears are an obvious win
yeah.
in this game.
I think it's close.
I really do.
I think it's going to be very close.
They
But it's going to be
it's
bad.
I think it's gonna be close. Yeah, it's gonna be dog shit. But like, man, if Brock Purdy thought the Bills defense was hard, wait till he meets the Bears.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not gonna be fun, especially with literally no run game. You're gonna
Yeah.
be totally fucked.
Now,
in this game.
I'll give
Totally.
Purdy one thing. It was dumping snow in Buffalo. That makes your job extremely hard as a quarterback in an offense where clearly your running backs are banged up, and they got worse throughout that game. And your passing options are pretty depleted. Like Kittle got like 1-2 targets in this game. Debo was there. No Ayuk. Like it's not. You're not in the best circumstances right now if you're Brock Purdy, which sucks, but you got to get over it. Like, you got to deal with it. You still have weapons to use.
Yeah.
But the conditions last week, I'll give him a break on. This week, you have no reason
fair.
not to play well. If you don't play well this week, it's a you problem, and it's a 49ers entirely problem.
Yeah,
Because,
and
yes, the Bears defense is fine, but I'm not going like riding home about the Bears defense anymore. Start a season hot, but right now it's nothing to write home about. And the offense is as bad as it gets, especially when they're on the road.
it's true. And yeah, I'm not as hot on the Bears defense really that much anymore. It's just they're facing an ideal offense.
Yeah.
In an ideal situation.
Yes.
Right now.
Agreed.
And then on the Bears side, if you own Keenan Allen in fantasy this year, I'll be taking any tips in the comments on what to do about this guy because I haven't started him the past 2 weeks in a row, and they have been insane. I think he has 2 touchdowns in both games, I want to say, or like close to something like that. And as soon as I start him again, he's going to get 2 to 3 points. I know it's going to happen.
Maybe. Well, the 49ers
probably going to start him this week.
No Diamador
So we'll
Lenore. He'll be out,
which is good.
And I'm not sure if Travarius Ward will be there though. He might be back in the lineup. He was out last week.
Yeah, but yeah, man, what an ending to their game last week. I still can't believe that. Just
Yeah.
standing in the doorway,
Yeah.
like everybody's huddled around the TV because food's not ready. And it's just
Who's the interim
we're all
head
just
coach?
like, what? I have no idea.
Thomas Brown. Interesting. So this is a weird article, but oddly enough from Fox News. Bears interim head coach has lost over 20 pounds amid team's coaching staff changes. That's an
That's
odd
wow.
headline. I,
That may not be the
I
best
think that, yeah, I
thing.
think that's unhealthy, if I had to guess. Okay, here's
That's
the
sounds like
Sports Illustrated
stress.
article. He has lost 22 pounds since taking over. Um, that's crazy.
Dude, we had Thanksgiving there. He must have just not had anything after
Well,
Thanksgiving.
would you have wanted to eat after what that happened to them on Thanksgiving?
Probably. That'd be
I
the
think
only
I would
thing
have
I
been
was looking
sick to
forward
my
to.
stomach. He said, so when he talked about this, he said, if you increase tasks to your day, you forget about food. Okay. Fair,
Yeah,
I
we'll see
guess.
about that.
He said, I
Also
went a
needs to
couple
check on
days that
him.
I really didn't eat, really didn't think about it, wasn't hungry. I was thinking about the next moment, what to say to this player, doing game planning. I looked up and I'm almost down 30 pounds.
That's none of this sounds okay, Grayson.
No, it's as unhealthy of an eating habit as it gets. So their head coach has a eating disorder, but yeah, I don't know what the but is. I don't think there's anything redeeming here. But it's
I mean,
better
you
than
have DeAndre
Eberflus.
Swift, who's been fucking useless.
Yeah,
So
yeah, both great
that's
points.
pretty redeeming.
This game sucks.
Um,
I'll say it. It does.
that's bad.
What do
Really
you
bad.
think the score is going to be?
Mm, mm. Uh, Bears 17, 49ers 20. Yeah, I can't go with the Bears.
Oh, you almost did it. You almost did
I
it.
almost did it. Almost did it.
I can't go with the Bears either. I'm going to go 49ers 17, Bears 14.
Both 3-point games.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Chargers, Chiefs. Chiefs a 4-point favorite at home. Chiefs win would clinch the AFC West. But the Chargers are very good. 8-4. Love this team. Harbaugh has been awesome. Lad McConkey. What a hell of a draft pick. Oh, man.
Yeah, big time.
And then no J.K. Dobbins last week. Didn't matter because the Falcons suck. But I believe Dobbins is back this week. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Let me double check here.
Actually don't know. Ugh.
Come on. Give me something. Somebody, please.
Did he practice?
He is on IR. My apologies. He will not be.
Oh, man.
That was as of last Saturday they put him on IR, so he'll still miss 2 more weeks after this one. So still, you'll get what's his name, Kamani Vidal and Gus Edwards, most likely, I guess.
Love that.
Well, it worked last week, kind of. They didn't look great. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Chiefs are so weird, man. I can't figure them out whatsoever.
No, excuse me, even with Pacheco coming back, it's still weird.
Yeah.
He's been extremely weird.
I hate this Chiefs team right now, and I hate that they're 11-1. I really do.
I do. I like the fact that, I mean, is it fair to say that DeAndre Hopkins has kind of come more alive than in recent years with this Chiefs
team? Kelsey's turned things around for sure. He won't score touchdowns because Noah Gray keeps taking them.
Yeah. And Xavier Worthy was a great pick. They just have a lot of little pieces here and there to throw to.
Yeah. You want to hear
their running game in the past couple weeks has been abysmal.
Yeah, you want to hear some fun facts about the Chiefs this year?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Their biggest margin of victory was 13 points over the Saints. Their second largest margin of victory was 10 points over the 49ers. After that, they haven't beat any other teams by 10 points or more. And they're 11-1.
Yeah.
Their last 2 weeks, they beat the Panthers by 3 and the Raiders by 2. What?
Insane. It is insane.
Like, those combined margins, those teams don't even have close to that. Or actually, I think that's the same amount of wins as those two teams combined.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then before the week where you lost to the Bills, you beat the Broncos by 2 points as well.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And then leading up to this game, you barely got over the Chargers the first time you played them.
Yeah, dude, like it just takes a mishap or something going their way every single time. And then this last week was maybe the worst of them. Like the blocked field goal, I can accept. The blocked field goal by the Broncos, I'll take that, whatever. But Aiden O'Connell in field goal range, looking to the sideline, and the ball just gets snapped to him. It's crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, they'll probably win this game in some weird fashion too.
Yeah, and on primetime television as well.
Yeah.
Even the Bengals game, like I'm still shaken up.
Yeah.
Over that Bengals
Trust
game.
me,
And the
Falcons.
game.
They got bailed out by bad play calling.
Oh Lord.
And a missed flag.
Awful. Yeah, and on the Chargers side, just kind of echoing what you said, Harbaugh has come in and done a great job.
Yeah.
And him and Justin Herbert have like the coolest relationship.
Yes.
For like a first season for a head coach player, it's awesome.
All off season last year, I talked about Harbaugh being the guy. Or I guess it wasn't even really off season, it was just the season. I talked about how Harbaugh was going to be the guy for the Chargers. 100%. I was hitting that for weeks, and it's because I had heard about a conversation that he had with I can't remember the guy's name. Is it Mike Lombardo? Mike Lombardi? I don't know. He does stuff for ESPN. He's a former GM. Yeah, I think it is Mike Lombardi. But he talked about how he had spoken with Harbaugh something, and Harbaugh could not stop raving about Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
And I think that Harbaugh just loves what Justin Herbert's about. He loves the kind of player he is, just like I do. I have been trying to stay on the Justin Herbert train so much. And I'm so glad that I did, because it gave me the opportunity to just jump off of the Trevor Lawrence one.
Yeah.
And I wanted to. I wanted to jump off the Trevor Lawrence train last year. I gave him the benefit of the doubt, but I have stayed true. I'm in first class on the Justin Herbert train.
You really are. Yeah. You really are.
I did not give up at any step of the way. And now I'm here, and I'd love to pick him to beat the Chiefs, and they won't. They just won't. The Chiefs will find some fucked up way to win this game.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the solid 27-24 Chiefs.
I'm going to go 26-24 Chiefs on a game-winning safety.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. Miraculous way to win. They win on a game-winning safety. Monday Night Football. God, do I wish that this game wasn't the Simpsons cast or whatever the fuck it's called, because they would have flexed this out of Monday Night Football so fucking fast. But instead, we have to deal with Bengals-Cowboys.
Oh, man.
Bengals are a 5-point favorite. Now, could this game actually end up being fun? Just because of offense.
Probably.
Offenses could show up because of how bad the defenses are. I will point out, no Zach Martin for the rest of the season. He's out. So that's a big blow for the offensive line for the Cowboys.
Another massive blow, yeah.
What I will give them credit for, though, is Micah Parsons is back. Oh, boy, is he back.
Yeah.
They are so lucky he is. Trayvon's back. Things are rolling in the right direction for the Cowboys. The problem is they don't have Dak. And they have Rico Dowdle, who had a career game. He had like 117. He was awesome.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it was just a Thanksgiving thing. We'll have to see. I know that, look, it was Thanksgiving. They were never going to give fucking Zeke the ball. That was never going to happen.
Yeah.
He would have eaten it. But Rico Dowdle was awesome last week. Now,
Classic.
the Bengals might score 100 points. They've got the offense where, like, I can't count them out to just break the record any week and still
That's a good point,
manage to
yeah.
lose. If they do, they'll break the scoring record and lose.
Excuse me. The Bengals surely got him, right?
They've gotta.
I mean, you're not going to be able to get. If you're the Cowboys, you can't afford a shootout, but
No.
nobody can stop a shootout with the Bengals right now.
Yeah, but I don't know if the Cowboys can get into a shootout.
That's a good point.
Like, Cooper Rush is fine. He's getting better as the weeks go on. But I don't expect Dowdle to have the kind of game he did last week. And CeeDee Lamb's great, but they can't figure out how to use him in this system.
He is so pissed off.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is probably one of the most angry NFL players.
You know how pissed I'd be if I was locked in with Dak Prescott for the next few years? Fuck that.
Yeah. They got some spell over there. How are they getting all these players to buy into this?
I hope Micah doesn't. I hope Micah doesn't fall for their tricks, bro.
Yeah.
Please get out. Please become a Atlanta Falcon. I need it. I need it bad. The D-line actually looked good for the Falcons last week. It's just the only thing that looked good. Yeah.
Well,
Bengals 42, Cowboys 28. No field goals.
Let me go Bengals. Shit. Bengals 41, Cowboys 24.
Okay. That's it. We got 6 teams on bye: Broncos, Colts, Patriots, Commanders, Ravens, Texans. I do want to bring up Azeez Al-Shaair suspended 3 games. He appealed. It was upheld. So he will be out for 3 games for that hit that he laid on Trevor Lawrence. And then Deontay Johnson got suspended 1 game by the Ravens because he refused to enter the game last week against the Eagles. The fuck has happened to Deontay Johnson?
I have no idea. He's crashing out.
Yeah, he is.
Literally.
I almost am starting to wonder if he didn't want to be traded from the Panthers.
I couldn't tell you. I really could not tell you.
Because it just seems like this offseason, maybe he probably didn't want to get traded. But the Steelers needed to trade him. It just made sense. Because they went out and addressed the need. Which, then again, they probably should have addressed the need of wide receiver after they got rid of him. But he goes to Carolina, and he's playing very well. Regardless of the quarterback, he was playing very well. And rightfully earned himself a trade out of a losing situation. And goes to, quite literally, the best situation he could have found. He went to the one team that's very good, not getting wins when they should be, and the biggest thing you can attribute it to was the offensive weapons not being there for them in the receiving game. You have an MVP winning quarterback who is running the ball at the lowest mark of his entire career. He's throwing the ball so much. And the only competition you really have at wide receiver, if you're Deontay Johnson, is Zay Flowers. You should probably get targets over Rashad Bateman, but you can't get it through your dumb fucking head that you just need to play your role. Just play your fucking role. You have no merit to say, I should be getting targets. I should be getting on the field, blah, blah, blah. But then they go to put you on the field when they haven't been giving you looks, and you say, nah. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, are you trying to get put on a practice squad next year? Is that what you're looking at? Like, I don't get what his idea was here when he got traded away from the Panthers. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't even know how to comment on it, really. It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
His career path.
Crazy.
And I hate to see it, to be honest with you. I really do. It's the time that he spent with the Steelers is very meaningful. I remember Dude, I remember watching him his rookie year. That was when Ben tore his elbow in half.
Hmm.
Deontay Johnson was like solely the special teams guy.
Yeah.
And I remember, dude, I was at Taco Mac and I watched him return this punt against the Cardinals, and I was like, here we fucking go. This is the kid right here. And then when Ben Roethlisberger was back healthy, he genuinely, I won't say all the time because he always had hiccups, but there were games where he looked like just a stud,
Yeah.
just a complete superstar in the league. And yeah, I don't know if, to me, the grave that he's dug himself in, it already seems just way too deep. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I guess it's just like the uncertainty of the situation. But like, I don't know how he comes back from this. I don't know who's gonna want him.
Nope.
It's very weird.
Who
Very,
wants
very
a
weird.
player who doesn't want to get on the field when you're on a team that good?
Yeah,
I just don't get it. We will
it's insane.
wrap up the NFL there because we have run rather long here.
Yeah,
And
with 6 teams on bye, we've gone for 3 hours on the NFL.
almost 1.5, which is crazy. But yeah, we're moving on to the MLB, and we got some moves to talk about here. So we will begin with the A's signing Luis Severino to a 3-year, $67 million deal.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Love that move for the
Very
A's.
much
Love
that.
to see that they got out of Oakland and they decided, let's start getting players that, like, I thought Luis Severino might have ended up like on a contender this offseason.
Yeah,
Like, he could have gone out and done it. He'll probably be one of the better pitchers in this rotation. And they got him on a deal that I think makes sense money-wise. 20, 22 a year, a little over that. Like, that's not bad for Luis Severino right now.
no, not at all. And just a player that kind of I just think it's fitting for him, to
Yeah.
have kind of won his way back as a, like considered to be a decent MLB starter with the New
Mhm.
York Mets. And then now he's kind of on like what feels like sort of a fresh team
Yeah.
for him to kind of build with. So I really like it for him. Really,
Yeah.
really like that move.
The other big one, well, there's two of them. Red Sox signed Aroldis Chapman to a 1-year deal. So while they wait
Fuck
on the
off.
decision of Juan Soto, they decided, let's go get Aroldis Chapman so he can continue his tour around the MLB in these dying years of his career.
Yeah,
It's a fine move. They needed to add to the bullpen. He does that. He's also like 35.
yeah, I reckon, especially if you might lose, Kinley
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, he's likely gone.
So,
And then the Mets replace Luis Severino with a starter, that being Frankie Montas on a 2-year, $34 million deal. That's a fantastic team-friendly deal, in my opinion, for a guy who's probably going to be like fourth in the rotation. Frankie Montas just was awesome with the Angels. Got traded to the Yankees, immediately got hurt, and has done nothing since.
yeah.
Like, he was on the Reds last year, I'm pretty sure. I only say I'm pretty sure because I don't know if I watched him pitch once. Like,
Yeah.
I really don't know, but I can see this being a fine move for the Mets. You didn't spend too much money on him, so you could be happy about that. Like, if you would have told me that, let's say he didn't get traded to the Yankees, stays healthy, hits free agency, I would have said he would have been, at the time, he was probably trending towards being a $30 million a year guy. He's just not, or at least 25 maybe.
Yeah.
But I like this at 17 a year. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
But those are the big
Yeah.
deals that have happened that are at least important players in the grand scheme of free agency. I guess if you really care to know, the Cubs signed Matthew Boyd. That's the only one that I have on the top of my head. But let's talk about some rumors all around. We will potentially be seeing a Soto deal by Monday. Like Monday at the latest is what we're hearing. So like we could literally it could happen right now for all we know. Last reports I saw, the two leaders, the Mets and the Red Sox. The Red Sox are putting in fucking work this offseason. Whether they get anybody or not, their name is around just about anyone that is a big deal in free agency. So
Yeah,
we'll see what they're doing.
I hope they sign Juan Soto and then maybe like one more big guy, and then Fenway Park just collapses. Just just falls down. No one dies. No one dies. It's just
Yeah.
it's like in the middle of the day, just the stadium just falls down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then we would have to have like what, a third team playing in a minor league baseball field. We already have two of them this
Yeah,
season.
and Juan Soto can enjoy a minor league baseball field with his 60 million. No, 600 million.
600 million is the
600
floor. It's what I'm hearing. That's the
floor.
floor.
That's insane.
Yeah. It
That
is
is absolutely insane.
very insane. Corbin Burns
Yeah.
has met with the Yankees and the Blue Jays.
It's exciting.
If Corbin Burns goes to the
I
Blue
don't know
Jays, that would be the most boring move ever.
if Corbin Burns comes to the Yankees, that would be fun, but among the 11 other starting
Yeah.
pitchers that we have.
Yeah. If Corbin Burns goes to the Blue Jays, he better learn how to speak 75 wins.
Yeah. And
That's
if he
all
goes to
they're
the
good
Yankees,
for, man.
he'll have to speak Spanish.
Yeah.
But just what are you gonna do? Run a 9-man rotation? Stroman gets in there. Cortez, I think he's a free agent as well, right?
Yes, and you better not even
Um,
you guys better not even offer him a cent.
Why?
The Grand Slam.
Oh yeah,
That won the World Series, and that was game 1.
To be fair, he hadn't pitched really anything going into that.
Well, don't worry about him pitching again. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, if if this rotation was Garrett Cole, Corbin Burns, Marcus Stroman, what else do you even
Rodon.
need? Yeah, sure, Rodon's there, but what else do you need with those three?
That's a good point. Yeah.
It seems
Super good
great
point.
on
And
paper.
Luis Hill.
Yeah, Luis
well.
Hill. There you go. There's your 5.
Yep.
That's
wild.
Crazy. It pretty much means Soto's not even in the cards now. If they get Corbin Burns, Soto is nowhere close to making a deal with the Yankees. But I think Soto will sign before Corbin Burns for sure. Move on though to an interesting one. Nolan Arenado has been kind of a big name in the trade market this offseason. I don't know if he's necessarily worth what people are saying, but you also have to keep into account this is a 7-time platinum glover, I believe 13-time gold glover. This guy's for real. And looks like right now, initially what I had seen was Dodgers and Yankees were in on him. Now I'm seeing the most likely suitors for a trade would be the Dodgers, Red Sox, Tigers, and the Padres. And for the Tigers, it makes sense. You go out, make a move for sure. They've got the guys they could trade for him. Dodgers, pretty similar position as well. They don't really care to keep youth, and they could give up some guys at the major league level. And then for the Red Sox and the Padres, you would have to make some changes. If it were the Padres, you're likely going to trade off Luis Arias somewhere anyways. I have a feeling that's a likely thing that could happen this offseason is trading Luis Arias, and then you would easily slide Arenado in at third base. For the Red Sox, it would almost require a move for Devers to first base, which has also been something that could definitely happen. I think out of all these teams, the Red Sox would be the team less likely because a lot of the talent that's worth giving up to me that the Red Sox have is too valuable of talent to give up for Arenado. I think you have to set your sights a little bit higher. You go for a younger guy, go for a more established guy in the league right now than like 34-year-old who is clearly on the decline, at least offensively.
Yeah, we don't want Justin Turner 2.0.
Exactly. So, yeah, I think to me the Red Sox should pump
Manny
the brakes.
Machado plays third base.
For the Padres?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would make the move back to shortstop was my inclination.
Really?
I know he hasn't played shortstop in a long time.
Do that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fantastic
At this
shortstop.
age?
It used to be. I don't know.
Huh.
Used to be a fantastic shortstop.
I don't know. I don't know how that would look.
Me neither.
2024, but
yeah. And also, Arenado would probably get his fair share of shots at DH as well in San Diego.
Yeah.
But I think he should be in the field, personally. Next thing, KBO star, 25-year-old second baseman, Ha-Seong Kim, not to be confused with former KBO star and second baseman Ha-Seong Kim, well, and shortstop, but has been posted to the MLB. So teams have until, I believe, January 3rd to sign him. If anybody was wondering about Ha-Seong Kim, fantastic hitter. This guy, he played in the KBO for 8 years, meaning he's been playing in the KBO since he was 17. And career batting average 306. Last 3 seasons, he's batted 326. He has like a mid to high 800s OPS. Absolute killer over in the KBO. Believe the Mariners are the main team I've seen in the running for him.
It'd be exciting. You know how I feel about the KBO talent. It's awesome.
Yeah, they're always
really
it's
all
always
of the
fun.
foreign leagues.
Yeah, the KBO talent typically not on the same level as the NPB. We've had these conversations before, but
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
a lot of times with the KBO talent compared to the NPB guys is the KBO talent comes in and immediately makes an impact. A lot of times they get really young players from Japan, and it takes them a little bit more time. That's what I've started to notice. And like Roki Sasaki is a prime example. The guy's 23 years old. We don't know if he's going to have a huge impact right off the start. Last thing, seen some teams interested in converting Clay Holmes to a starter. A lot of teams interested in getting him and making him a starter. He was primarily a starter in the minors. I think he started 40 games in AAA, but hasn't started in the MLB since his rookie year in 2018. I wouldn't mind it. I think he'd be fine. It's just if I was going out to get Clay Holmes, I'm maybe not thinking of him as a starter.
Definitely not. But how can you think of him as a closer?
That's very true.
As well. Why don't we all just forget about Clay Holmes?
Well, I will have zero problem forgetting about Clay Holmes because sometimes I forget about him pretty often, actually.
Yeah, he's a bum.
Yeah, I agree. But that's all I had for the MLB. So hopefully we'll be getting Soto news here. Winter meetings start on the 9th.
Starting to heat up.
So
yeah. Compared to, how we have been talking about MLB free agency, this has probably been the most interesting segment we've had as far as things to talk about with moves and stuff. So
the hot stove,
interesting, man.
The hot stove is finally hot.
I'm just waiting on like what guys like Bregman do. Obviously Soto and Corbin Burns.
Adames is a fun one. Max Fried. There's a lot of great talent out there that has not been picked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Over the course of probably the next time me and you are here talking about this news, probably gonna be a lot of there might be signings that drop during our recording next Thursday, because winter meetings I believe go all the way through Friday or Saturday. So it's definitely gonna be an active time. Trust. I love winter meetings because we're gonna be getting like tweets from reporters being like, the Padres just ate dinner here. Typically, the wait staff takes this long, like all this shit being like, they should be out of there in about an hour 15. We might have a deal for Soto. Like, that's the kind of shit we're going to see. I love winter meetings for that reason. What I also love is soccer. Soccer is one of my guilty pleasures. I would probably consider it. I guess at this point, I've been talking about soccer on this podcast for 2 years. It ain't a guilty pleasure. Speaking of, we're almost to 2 years of Luke being on the podcast full time. In case anybody was wondering.
Yeah, it's super close.
Yes, I believe it's in a matter of days. So shout out to you, and shout out to you bringing soccer to this program, which is what we'll do right now with the Premier League. And we're going to start by talking about my team, Brentford and Newcastle, going head to head this week. These teams tied on points right now in the table. Not loving Newcastle's goal scoring ability right now. It's just they can't score goals. 17 goals scored. That's the same as Man U. They fired their fucking coach. Not that I'm saying we shouldn't, but Brentford scoring a shit ton of goals. 27, 10 more than Newcastle. They've allowed 26, which is 9 more than Newcastle. So you can see where both these teams' shortcomings are. The problem is it's a lot harder to win a game as the team that can't score goals than as the team that can. I feel like if you're scoring a lot of goals and
Definitely.
giving up a lot of goals, you have much less problems than the team that's not scoring a lot of goals and not allowing a lot of goals. I don't know. I could be wrong
Newcastle
there,
just
but
need to go out and get a different winger and then sign either Chris Wood or Brian Mbembo or Victor Osimhen.
yeah.
I feel like anybody could sign Victor Osimhen at this point.
I feel like
Um,
Osimhen would go for
I,
Saudi money in England. That sounds like the perfect mixture of things that he's interested in.
definitely. But yeah, Newcastle have been a little bit weird this season. Kind of a little bit hitting their stride, maybe.
Kinda.
I mean,
I wouldn't
better
say
than kind of
so.
how y'all started.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm super happy about the draw with Liverpool. That was yesterday.
it's a great draw.
Huge,
Yeah,
huge. It's just, the draw with Crystal Palace the week before and the 2-0 loss to West Ham before that. That I don't love.
yeah, definitely.
So
But
that's where
on the
things get
Brentford
dicey.
side, yeah, on the Brentford side, I don't really like a 3-1 loss to Aston Villa. Like I know they're
No.
good and all, but Villa have been dog shit
Yeah.
in the Premier League recently.
Yeah, I think it's just the
Truly.
biggest thing to me for Brentford is they're still scoring. Yeah, 3-1 loss to Aston Villa, but they're putting up goals against the teams that allow goals, and that's kind of what they've done well this whole year. 4-1 over Leicester, 3-2 over Bournemouth in the last couple of games. Like, they're scoring. That's a big thing that Newcastle is just simply not doing outside of the 3 goals against Liverpool this week. You've got a Brentford team. They're one of the best teams at home as well this season in the Premier League. And this is a Newcastle team that just, yes, they're scoring more goals than they have, but it's just, I don't know. It doesn't seem right still. Isaac is not where I want him to be at the moment. And even since Callum Wilson's come back, he's not really being used, and nor does he really need to be. He's not doing anything when we do put him on the field. So it's just, I don't know. Newcastle's in a really weird spot where I don't know what to think about the way they're playing.
Definitely.
But shout out Fabian
Yeah,
Schär
I think
for
this
that
could be.
game-tying goal in the 90th minute.
Yeah, that saved you guys right there. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Definitely saved you guys there. But very weird game to predict because I feel like it could be like a 3-0 Brentford win. It could probably be like a 2-0 Newcastle win, but
Yeah.
it could also be like a 1-1 draw. So I think I'm gonna go 1-1 draw.
I hate that I'm on the same
So
page. The whole time you were saying that, I was like, he's going to work himself down to a draw here.
yeah.
And I think you're exactly right. I'm going 1-1 draw as well.
Yeah.
It seems right based
Okay.
on the matchup. Our next game, Manchester United taking on Nottingham Forest. Big one. Ruben Amorim needs to get back on track after that 2-0 loss to Arsenal. I just I like what I saw for sure. I think, we talked about it a little bit with that Manchester United win over Everton. He got the right guys
Yeah.
involved. Xerxes and Rashford both scoring 2 goals in that match is a huge sign of what he's been able to do immediately as he stepped in. And I have to give
Yeah.
him the credit for that. Now, the loss to Arsenal is pretty bad, I would say. Yes, Arsenal's scoring, pretty well in the Premier League, but and then they're on fantastic goal scoring form. 3 goals against Nottingham Forest, 5 against West Ham, now 2 against Manchester United. I'm not going to hang, my head if I'm Ruben Amorim or any of these Manchester United guys because we lost to Arsenal right now. Arsenal's on great form. It's just not an ideal result. You would have loved to put up a goal on Arsenal. For Nottingham Forest side, they're still up there, but they're not on the best of form. The 3-1 loss to Newcastle, the 3-0 loss to Arsenal. Then you get a win over Ipswich, which obviously should have happened, and then 3-0 to Man City. You don't want to be losing to Man City right now, especially not 3-0. And the fact that in these losses, it's against, obviously Newcastle's not a top team, but teams up near, the kind of teams where you watch the match and you're like, I don't know if they're going to win. Which I would say right now is probably the top 14 teams in the league. The rest of them, it's kind of like, all right, yeah, I don't know about I don't know about y'all, but the other teams at least can compete. But Nottingham losing in that kind of fashion, 3-1, 3-0, 3-0, like you can't have that happening right now, especially when they've been playing such great defense. That's what they were doing so well. So it's an odd fall from grace for Nottingham Forest in these last 5 matches, or really 4.
Yeah, and Nottingham Forest have kind of had a complete howler, especially Matt Sells, who's been a guy that they can count on back there at goalie.
Yeah.
Just got beat up on by a probably the coldest we've ever seen Manchester City in the Pep Guardiola era.
Yeah, I saw some
It says
report
a lot.
Pep Guardiola went ghost after one of these games. People couldn't reach him.
Dude.
We need to have 24/7 supervision on Pep Guardiola right now, because he might
he will scratch his face off.
Yeah. He might show up to training and just have a peeled face.
No, just missing an earlobe or something.
Yeah. He'll cut his ear off like Van Gogh.
Yeah.
Tortured artist.
Tortured artist, you're right. Dude,
Catch you off guard with that one.
It's just, yeah, you did. But someone needs to seriously just watch Pep though. But on the Manchester United side, really unlucky game against Arsenal. I think the scoreline doesn't really do Manchester United any kind of it doesn't give them any kind of credit here. And they probably should, because the original, Arsenal attack of the thundering Kai Havertz but of course Buyaka Shaw.
Nice.
On the left wing.
Bukayo Saka.
Bukayo. I had trouble whenever I put him in my team of the month, too. I had to look up how to pronounce his name. Bukayo Saka, you shut down all of those guys. The fact that you're losing 2-0 to a Timber and Saliba probably means that whatever you did worked.
Yeah.
It just, got caught off guard there, by just other ticky-tack goals. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that 2-0 loss is really all that bad. But for Nottingham Forest, as crazy as it sounds, I would have expected a lot better against Manchester City and how they've been compared to, how Nottingham Forest has been recently.
Yes.
So I don't know what to think. I think Manchester United kind of goes into this game maybe a little bit hotter.
I agree. I think they have the edge at the moment. We're seeing what I can appreciate for Ruben Amorim is that the guys that we thought were the problem when Ten Hag was in charge have already come out of the woodwork. They're already showing up in these games. And it shows me that this team is rallying behind Amorim, which is the first step. That's the first step here. If these guys are going to follow along with what he has to say, I'm going to believe in the team immediately. Because they have talent. You can't deny that. Now, Bruno Fernandes, kind of weird right now this season, but he had a really good month last month, and he continues to be a good chance creator. I think they've got the edge here just because of the goals. Nottingham Forest scored 5 goals in their last 5 matches. We talked about it. They're not a goal-scoring machine. It's literally just Chris Wood that can score goals. That is it. And I think that's really hurting them right now, and it will hurt them against a Manchester United team that looks as dynamic as they have all season now.
Yeah, and on top of that, you had Lisandro Martinez and Kobe Mainu they missed that game on suspension.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Manchester United's inactives right now is 3 defenders that really don't need to be at Manchester United anymore. That being Johnny Evans, Luke Shaw, and Lindelof.
Yeah.
Those are 3 guys that are past their times at Old Trafford, I would say. Considering Johnny Evans played in a match for Manchester United where he played against Ruben Amorim.
Yeah. That's terrible.
That's crazy. Yeah, what are we thinking score prediction wise? I'm certainly going the way of Manchester United.
I'm going to go 1-0 Manchester
1-0.
United.
I'm going to go 2-1. I think Chris Wood will probably get on the score sheet, make it double digits for the season.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
I like it.
Tottenham Chelsea on Sunday.
Oh.
Chelsea is on a heater.
Yes,
they're on wonderful form right now. You're now in second place. You're tied on points with Arsenal, but you have the edge in goal difference by 2 goals. Last 5 matches, you haven't had 0 points. You can say that. They're unbeaten, at least in their last 5. I haven't really looked past that. That's just Prem games. I think you guys also got another win um, in a different competition in the last 5 matches. Um, but 2-1 over Leicester, 3-0 over Villa, 5-1 over Southampton. You're doing your job right now. And that is the
Yeah.
biggest thing you can ask from Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea haven't lost in the Premier League in honestly a decent amount of time. The last loss was to Liverpool on October 20th, so
Yeah.
before Halloween, which is crazy how far away that feels. But yeah, dude, Chelsea have been on a tear. I mean, Aston Villa just were constantly getting just totally dumpstered by Chelsea the whole game. Our offense is so good, and Caicedo. Oh my God, Moises Caicedo! It's like watching a taller N'Golo Kante play.
Yeah.
He is a demon out there. And we all know what Cole Palmer can do. Just absolutely ridiculous. It really doesn't even matter who Chelsea play on the wing at this point because unbeknownst to a lot of people, Mykhailo Mudryk has been really good in all of the games where he's run kind of like the second team in the Conference League and like in some of the League Cups as well. He played against Southampton in the Premier League last game. Christopher Nkunku is our backup striker, and I want to say he might have more goals than Nicholas Jackson on the season.
Wouldn't be surprised.
It's incredible, and like it doesn't matter. Like I said earlier, who you play on wing. Yeah, Felix has been great. Jadon Sancho's kind of found a home here, and Levi Colwill has shown a lot of maturity this season in the way that he runs that center back position. It's just, I really think the only issue with this team is inconsistency at the fullback.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Cucurella has earned left back, but I don't know who to play at right back anymore because like Wesley Fofana doesn't look that bad, but he went down against Villa with an injury. Gusto's looked great. And Reece James has also looked great when he's healthy. So not too sure what's going on there. I also don't know how you're going to keep Christopher Nkunku happy in the role that he's in at Chelsea. I think that's kind of something we need to monitor. But yeah, Tottenham, of course, Grayson can always make it weird against Chelsea, but they're going to have to do a lot more than what they've been doing against their past teams to really, I think, make a dent in this Chelsea form.
Yeah, I agree. And they're in shit form right now, if you're looking at Tottenham right now. And defensively, they are banged up. I talked about earlier in this season and a number of times throughout the year how much I like this defense. Okay, well, Christian Romero is out for a couple more weeks. Vicario's out until the end of February in goal. Mickey Van de Ven out until, I think, mid-December, so a couple more weeks as well. That's literally your center back pairing and your keeper out. Going up against a team that will score goals at will. You have no chance. I'll just say it right now. They're in shit form. They lost 1-0 to Bournemouth their last time out. Like, they I don't see them having much of a chance here.
And that's kind of the underrated thing about like Tottenham. I think in this age that a lot of people underrate is they, used to have the likes of Harry Kane and Heung-min Son playing together, and that was kind of the focal point of their team. But Mickey Van de Ven and Christian Romero have completely, and especially when Pedro Porro is healthy as well, that's kind of the new Tottenham.
Oh, yeah.
And where a lot of their, good results come from. And right now, they don't have any of that. Really, all it's been kind of is James Maddison.
That's the thing. They have elite chance creators. Between Heung-min Son and James Maddison, there's nobody to finish. That's what Harry Kane provided for years and years, was somebody that could score goals. And that's why he scored so many. Obviously, he didn't play with James Maddison, but he had chance creators around him at all times, especially Heung-min Son. And that was the recipe for success. Now, that wasn't success on a trophies level. We all know that. But it was success in like, we can make the Champions League every now and then. And we'll come 5th place quite a lot. That was more successful than what the fuck's happening right now. Because I can't really explain 10th place and trending downwards, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
can't either.
I'm going to
take Chelsea 2-0.
I was about to say the exact same thing. I'm taking Chelsea 2-0. So, fantastic. All right. Well, the rest of the Prem schedule goes as follows. Actually, tonight. These games, like, or just starting, which is crazy. Um,
Dude, it was a weird Premier League schedule because you had like the Villa game over the weekend, but then Chelsea played like yesterday, and a
yeah,
lot of teams played yesterday. I think
yeah.
it was a very weird schedule.
Sorry, these games have now concluded. Sorry, both of them are over. Um, Fulham 3-1 over Brighton, and Bournemouth 1-0 over Spurs. That was that Bournemouth loss I was talking about. Happened literally within the last like 2 hours. Um,
Nice.
but yeah, those were the games that happened tonight. Saturday, you got Everton, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Southampton, Brentford, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Man City, and then Manchester United versus Nottingham Forest. On Sunday, you got Fulham, Arsenal, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Leicester, Brighton, Spurs, Chelsea. And then we do have a Monday game as well, West Ham versus Wolves. And then we have no matches till next Saturday. All right.
I
Well,
also wanted to point out
yes,
that
please do.
Pedro Porro is not hurt. It's with that scheduled turnaround. He started on the bench and actually got subbed in.
Gotcha.
So Tottenham's lineup that they ran when they tied against Fulham looked a lot better than the one they lost with Bournemouth, which still doesn't say a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. So I just wanted to point that out.
All right. Well, let's talk about the Champions League. We have, I'll say it's not a good schedule this week. It really isn't. But we will go through the matches, and if we want to stop and talk about a team, we're welcome to. But we'll start with Dinamo Zagreb versus Celtic. Nothing to talk about there at all. Girona versus Liverpool. Liverpool is going to kick ass. There you go. Leipzig versus Villa. Leipzig still sucks. I don't care that they got to win. I really don't. Not that Villa's on great form either, but at least in the Prem. So they've got some things to figure out. But you could see that one get interesting, but I don't see Villa losing. This one's actually good, though. Leverkusen versus Inter. Actually important. Actually a good matchup. Obviously, we've talked about how fantastic Inter has been. They're second in the table with 13 points. They yet to allow a goal still, which is crazy. And Leverkusen moved all the way up to 6. They've been killing it. That only loss was that 4-0 loss to Liverpool. They have the draw that they had with Brest, which Brest is another one of the top teams as well. Well, they dropped down to 11 with their loss, but still. This is a big matchup, Leverkusen and Inter. If Leverkusen can get into the score column, that's the thing. Every single team versus Inter, the question is, can they score? And 5 times, it's been no. And one time, one team got a point off of them, and it was the first match or the second match of this campaign. No, first match.
It's you could win the Champions League like this, genuinely.
Oh yeah, well, if you don't give
Easily.
up any goals, you probably will win the Champions League. Now, I don't know if
It's
there's
just-
ever
I
been a
mean, they
team
don't-
that has never conceded a goal in a Champions League campaign, but Inter's on pace.
Here we are, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
Actually insane.
But I don't know. Leverkusen's got a shot. It's just shit. Nobody can score on them. And Leverkusen does give up goals. They've given up 5. They don't have the most sound defense this season. So I'd probably have to take Inter in that matchup just because that defense is unreal. The next match is fine. Atalanta versus Real Madrid. Atalanta's been killing it. Shit, they're number 5 in the table. They're ahead of Leverkusen with 11 points. They've only allowed 1 goal. We talked about how great that defense has been. Their first goal allowed was last week in a 6-1 victory over Young Boys. Real Madrid still not in a position where they're very happy. They're at 1 spot out of the elimination zone after 2 consecutive losses. Now, granted, it's 3-1 to Milan, who's been okay, not great, and then 2-0 to Liverpool, which we were watching live on the live stream last week. 9 goals for, 9 goals against for this Real Madrid team is unreal.
Not looking good. Not looking good. And Atalanta have a real chance to make it even worse.
Yeah, they've got a stout defense that is great, and then they have the goal scoring ability. We talked about, I think, on the live stream, Matteo Retegui, the leading goal scorer right now in Serie A. Like, they've got what it takes to win this game.
Yeah, and I think with the thing, like with Real Madrid, is they don't have the mentality out of their strikers to stay in a game where they are continuing, like they're just continuing to fail.
Kylian
I feel like
Mbappe pisses me off so much right now.
Exactly. And like he is not the kind of player that after 70 minutes, if you still haven't scored and you might, like, let's say, be down 1 or 2 goals at this point, you're probably not going to score the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Which is not good, and that's exactly what this Atalanta defense can do. So it's not a good team for Real Madrid to see right now.
No, not at all.
At all.
I don't know what the injury situation looks like, but like I know Vinny was out. If Vinny comes back healthy, you have to put him at striker and just put Mbappe on the left.
Or bench him.
I don't see that one happening. I don't think Florentino Perez will let that happen.
Probably not. No.
Let's see who we got next. Club Brugge Sporting. Don't care. Shakhtar Bayern. Shout out Douglas Costa, who played for both of these teams.
Shout out Luis for his. Did you see him wearing the beanie?
Who was it? Sorry.
Elise from Bayern.
Yeah.
Did you see him signing autographs with the beanie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out that look.
Facts. Salzburg versus PSG. PSG does need to get out of the elimination zone. They are 25th. Salzburg could also use a win to get out of the elimination zone. So there you go. Brest and PSV. Okay. And that's the end of Tuesday's matches. Now to Wednesday's matches. Spoiler alert, it doesn't really get much better. Atletico Madrid versus Bratislava. Hot start. Lille versus Sturm Graz. This week is literally top of the table versus bottom of the table for the most part. Here we go.
Yeah.
A good matchup. A great matchup. Dortmund and Barcelona. A top four matchup. Sorry. Number 3 and number 4. Barcelona's number 3. Dortmund number 4. They both lost one match. They haven't drawn at all. Barca and Dortmund scoring goals at an unbelievable rate. These two, the top two teams in goals scored. Barcelona with 18, Dortmund with 16.
This game could be like 7-4.
Yeah. You know what would be way funnier though is 0-0.
Yeah, you think so?
A 0-0 draw would be hilarious.
Or a 1-0 Barcelona win with Lewandowski goal.
That would be pretty sick.
Shout out Lewandowski. He played for both these teams.
Yeah, he did play for both of these teams. Any other players that we can think of? Okay, Gundogan last season at Barcelona.
Yep.
I can't think of any others. Did Szczesny
Barcelona
play
wanted
Dortmund? No. Yeah, I guess it's just other Polish players.
Barcelona wanted Royce for like years.
Ever. I remember that. Well, it's because Real Madrid was everybody else was going out and getting their Germans.
Aubameyang.
Yeah, that's right.
Played for both teams.
I kind of forget about Aubameyang's time at Barcelona, probably for good reason.
Aubameyang?
Shut up, bitch.
Obama?
Fuck you. I'll say however I
mispronounce way more than you do.
Don't pick me out for a mispronunciation. All I said was Aubameyang on accident. It's Aubameyang. I get it. He sucks anyways. Where's he at? Marseille? Still? With all the other the convicted felons that are playing there for oh fuck, what's his name? Holy shit. The guy who was at it was the manager at Aston Villa.
Oh, Imrai?
Yeah, no.
Emery?
No, wait, is he at Aston Villa? Then it was at Brighton. Brighton's manager last year. Why am I totally blanking on this? But he went to Marseille. Shit. Holy shit. Hold on.
Oh,
Roberto,
De Zerbi.
Yeah, De Zerbi. Yeah, he put together the I don't know where I was going with that. He put together a bunch of convicts and is giving them a chance to play soccer. Juventus, Man City.
He's running the AFC North over there.
Potentially a good matchup. Both of these teams on awful form in all competitions. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. I guess Man City hasn't been awful in the Champions League. Well, overall. These last couple games have been awful for them. And Juve just kind of can't find the form they're looking for. Kind of the same exact scenario that Man City's in. Like, it's just Juve's not scoring goals in the Champions League, which is a huge problem. You got
Yeah,
Benfica.
for some reason,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'll be heavily paying attention to Man City Nottingham Forest because I think that'll be very telling of how this game could go
Yeah, agreed.
for Manchester City.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Benfica Bologna. Sure. Arsenal Monaco could be good. Monaco did suffer an interesting defeat to Benfica last week. You go down 10 men and then you lose the game. It's kind of tough, but Arsenal has been on fantastic form, so it's kind of hard to see a world where Monaco ends up getting a win. And then three shitters: Milan versus Red Star Belgrade, Feyenoord versus Sparta Praha, and Stuttgart versus Young Boys. So it's a week. It's a week in the Champions League.
They're leaving us for 6 weeks after this, too.
And then our
bullshit.
next time back would be January 21st is the next matches after these. So I guess for the listeners, you won't really have to hear us talk about the Champions. Well, next Friday we'll talk about the matches these matches after they happen. But you won't really have to hear much about the Champions League until January 17th.
Oh, Grayson.
So
January 21st and the 22nd are not going to do us better. I'm just now looking through some of these. This is worse than this week.
Yeah, you might be right.
Well, maybe not.
There's a couple of redeeming. There's some decent matchups on Tuesday, but we'll get into those in a couple of weeks. We'll give you guys a break from Champions League, and we'll just stop talking about the Champions League altogether for today, because
we'll do it next year. We'll just do it next year.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about the Well, we're going to talk about the Champions League next week. Then we can say we'll talk about it next year.
Okay.
But it's just not the time for that. You know what it is the time for, though?
Uh-oh.
Boy, am I going to check both of my invisible watches. It's questions time.
The double watch.
It's questions time, and I'm excited to get through these questions because I was told by Nathan, and look, I'm not one to like embarrassing myself on this podcast. As you can tell, I've done this 211 times, and I've never embarrassed myself on here. If you didn't think I've embarrassed myself before, I'm about to embarrass myself. Nathan told me I have to sing the tune of the title of the questions today. So I'm going to do it.
I just opened Reddit.
Yeah. I'll give this a try. Yeah. It started when we were younger. You were mine. My questions. It didn't work. My questions. It doesn't. I don't think it's the same syllables as my boo thing. It might be, but it didn't seem right. I want to stop now. And this isn't even live. That's the thing. I'm doing this, and I know that I just have to put that out to the world. That's
shout out to you for just taking that one on, though.
Yeah.
Damn.
I guess I had to. Yeah. Nathan, I hope you enjoyed that. I didn't. Okay. We'll start off here. What sports training aid do you wish you had growing up? I already know my answer, and it's the first time I've read this question.
Me too. Yeah, rebound. One of the rebound things for soccer would have been sick.
Facts. Yeah. Baseball, pitching machine.
Yeah.
Pitching machine would have been good. I would have been getting hacks in, dude. I guess pitching machine in a batting cage would have been necessary for hitting. But yeah. Oh man. I would have been putting in work. I would have been Daniel Vogelbach.
Love that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything else. Actually, you know what? Just a jugs machine in general, like the general jugs brand, anything. The footballs, baseball, whatever. They just make such fantastic, jugs, tennis balls. I wasn't a tennis guy. Well, I was in high school. I was a fan of tennis. But not a player. Okay, yeah, we'll move on. I'm trying to think of any other sports training aids that I would have wanted. Maybe a basketball rebounder. Because like me and Nathan played a lot of basketball in the cul-de-sac growing up. Nathan played basketball. It would have been cool to have a rebounder. But we always were fighting over a ball anyway, so I wouldn't want the ball to shoot back to somebody that was shooting it. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll move on though. What was a toy you always wanted as a kid?
Oh, dude, I don't even know. Toy?
I don't know if I was necessarily a toy guy. Pretty early on, I kind of gave up on toys. I think
Yeah,
we
I think I
both
did
we
too.
grew up at a time where video games were just like the thing. Obviously, video
Yeah,
games have been around a while, but like I didn't really want toys once I got to the point where I was like asking for things for Christmas. I feel like, look, my mom or dad is welcome to fact check me there. Um, but I feel like I wasn't asking for a lot of toys. I think early on, like smartphones showed up at a pretty
yeah,
early point, and like iPods, iPads, things of that nature. If we're talking about things I always wanted as a kid, like growing up, and I never got, was like Call of Duty. I always
yeah.
wanted the Call of Duty games. My parents or my mom really just would not let us play, which respect.
Yeah, to be fair, my mom kind of, well, I guess both of my parents kind of stumped my GTA career.
Mm,
I probably could have had Liberty City early on, because that game was awesome, dude. I only knew it through walkthroughs
Yeah,
and
dude.
like
Let me tell you this:
YouTube.
Chris Smoove was my best friend.
Oh yes,
I was watching
yes.
Chris Smoove play everything. I was watching Chris Smoove play games that I knew I was getting for Christmas because I was like, I can't wait. I can't wait to know what happens in this game because I got to see him
Dude,
do it himself.
can we get a splash?
Dude, shout out Chris Move to
Shout
the
out Chris Move.
utmost degree.
I only watched him play 2K.
I watched so much 2K. He and this was a later in life thing. Fantastic playthroughs of all the Spider-Man games that have come out like exclusive to PlayStation.
Oh,
Fantastic
yeah.
playthroughs. Saints Row, he did a couple of the Saints Row games playthroughs. Watch
Yeah.
Dogs, so many great ones that he's done. I really liked watching him
Yeah.
play story games. Uncharted as well. Did a bunch of the
I didn't
Uncharted
even know he
games.
played story games like
Oh
that.
yeah, dude. That's like my favorite stuff. Obviously, I love the NBA stuff. Like the 2K stuff is awesome. But
Yeah.
yeah, I was really into the story games that he played.
Yeah. Did you
Um,
ever watch the other like NBA YouTubers from that era, like Onto the Boss or like QJB?
a little bit. I wasn't a huge 2K guy ever. Like that was never really my game.
Oh,
It
dude.
wasn't really my content thing. Really, like Nathan was a lot more into that. But he also played basketball, so it made sense. I was more trying to think. I guess like I had gaming YouTubers that I watched, like MMG. Obviously, I watched from the jump. Like I watched from early, like very much still Madden Mobile days, like early Madden Mobile days.
That's insane. Yeah.
Um, and I don't really watch
I
him as
still
much
watch
now.
MMG.
I don't watch him as much now, just
Love
because I don't
MMG.
really watch gaming videos all that much. Um, obviously, like growing up, first gaming video stuff I was watching was like Minecraft. Um, but sports gaming. I'm trying to think. MMG is really the main. I watched a lot of Troy Dan for a period of time.
I never
He's
got
a
into him.
bit much now, I would say.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. What makes you say that?
yeah. Duh. The gaming I was watching was FIFA. I watched so much FIFA content. That's what it was. That was the game that
Me too.
consumed from like probably FIFA 14 till probably like FIFA 19. The only gaming content I
Yeah.
was watching was FIFA.
Yeah. Fangs, Spencer FC, The
Fangs is a crazy
Sidemen,
one
Matt
to hit
HD
off rip.
Gamer.
That's an
I
odd.
just wanted to
I
go with a
liked Fangs is
low
awesome. Yeah,
key.
Fangs still
Yeah.
does it.
Trying to think. I also watched this guy MGH. He did career mode FIFA.
Mm.
He did not do ultimate.
I do know who
But
that
he was
is.
he was
But
fun
yes,
too. Yeah.
my
But
top
yeah, those
FIFA
guys were great
guys.
too.
I don't know how we've gone on this tangent, but um, oh, it's my fault. I brought up
Because we
Chris
didn't play
Smooth.
with toys.
Yeah. Um, in my top FIFA, Spencer FC, obviously Chris MD. Watched a lot of Chris MD. Rotoshaw in the prime. I was watching
Oh yeah,
so much
dude.
Rotoshaw.
Me
Um.
too.
What was that guy? AJ3 was that? Yeah, yeah. AJ3 who did like a lot of like the quick sell battles and shit. Um.
Yeah. JMX.
Yeah, they did stuff together a lot.
Yeah.
Zweibach was amazing. Love Zweibach's videos. Those were solid. So, and then of course, I was watching streamers as well during that time. I was watching a lot of Castro, a little bit of Nick 28T before he.
Yeah. What about Nep?
I watched a little bit of Nep, a little bit of Bateson.
Yeah. Fucking Bateson. Damn.
Yeah, I
They
think
were all
that's
great.
why I
miss
love
that
like
era.
those are the people that made me love soccer, and I was just watching them
Yeah.
play FIFA. I remember vividly telling my mom I was sick on the day of the Ballon d'Or ceremonies so I could watch Castro's reaction to them live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Played what? Hookie? Is that what they say?
Hookie?
Hookie?
Yeah. I did
Man.
that. I did that way more times. So I did it for when Team of the Year dropped in FIFA 16. And I didn't even open any packs. I just wanted to watch people play and try and get them.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
That's
gonna move
insane.
on now. Was there a sport you wanted to play as a kid but weren't allowed to or never tried? I never tried football. Okay, I tried football for 3 days. We've talked about it a number of times here. But I never really gave it a shot as a kid. And I kind of wanted to, but I just immediately got into baseball and never even thought about playing football. But in
Yeah. I mean,
retrospect,
I
I wish I
played.
did.
Yeah. I played T-ball as a kid 1 year, but like as a kid, I never really wanted to play anything else. It wasn't until I got to
Exactly.
high school where I was like, man, it would have been cool to try like baseball or football.
Yeah.
But not when I was a kid. No, I was all about soccer.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what happened to me too. Is like I started playing baseball at 5. I didn't know that playing another sport was even an option because I played baseball in the fall and the
Yeah.
spring, and I was like, "What else am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
But yeah, and then kind of the same to you. It's like I got older, and then I was like, "Oh, I wish I played football earlier because I probably would have liked it. And I could have had fun. And maybe it would have been good. I don't know, but it's too late now." At least I guess I thought that Ethan started playing football as a freshman in high school, and he's loving it. So I don't know. Maybe I was just
Yeah.
wrong. Yeah, I think it probably would have just been football for me. I wasn't interested enough in soccer until my older years. And then I didn't have the stamina for basketball. I knew that.
Oh, fucking.
I also suck. at
Basketball is
basketball.
insane.
I'm not
Me
okay.
too. I'm
better
shit.
than you, but I suck.
That's fine. Yeah, I hate playing basketball
I was
so
I was
much.
forced to at least be able to keep up. That's what happened. Like I was just around a bunch of people that
Yeah.
liked playing basketball, so I just had to figure out how to at least keep up. That's as good as I can get.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
What was your first in-person sporting event? So I don't necessarily know what mine is. I can say the first one I kind of remember, which I don't really remember at all. But I'm pretty sure that we went to a game at Petco Park when we went to San Diego in like 2006. So I was 3 years old.
Damn.
I think that would be my first one. If I think that would make sense.
I don't even know. I might need to text my parents after this because I was actually curious reading this question before. The first one that I can remember, I went to a Braves Marlins game at Turner Field. I think the score was like 7-2, and the first pitch was a Marlins home run. We sat right behind Freddie Freeman.
Nice.
That
So
game.
that was
Yeah.
like you were relatively older. What? You were probably like 12? 10? Probably like 10 years old.
Maybe even
if Freddie
younger.
Freeman was playing.
Maybe Dan Ugla was second baseman.
That still could have lined up.
Still later.
Freddie came up in what? 09, I think. Freddie came up in 2010, but it was at the end of the season, so it had to have been 2011 after, most likely. So you would have been 10, at least.
Shit, I wish I could figure out when this game was and like who the lineups were. I don't remember much. But another one of my first sporting events I remember going to was a Gwinnett Gladiators game on St. Patrick's Day where they had the ice screen. That was really cool.
Yeah. I remember. I'm pretty sure the Gator Bowl is the earliest football game I can think of, and that was Florida State versus West Virginia in the Gator Bowl. It was Bobby Bowden's last game.
Wow.
I remember that one. I remember a number of games at Turner Field. I did get confirmation that me and Nathan attended a Hawks game as kids.
Oh, cool.
The Thrashers. I remember going to Thrashers games, a couple of them. I think probably 2.
That's insane.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I went to a Pirates game in probably 08 or 09 when we went to Pittsburgh. I don't remember that one much. That was obviously I was very young. But yeah, I've been to a lot of different ones early on in my life. I went to a lot of them. Those are the kind of the ones
Yeah.
I can remember from early days.
Kinda.
Trying to figure out the problem is the Marlins are in our division. Yeah. It's like there's no telling when you'll find.
They were still the Florida Marlins.
Okay, well that gives you some kind of reference, but that was like 2016 when that changed.
Oh,
or fuck. Not? No, it was earlier than that. I think it was 2014.
No, they changed in 2012.
Oh, 2012. Okay, so then it had to have been 2011 or 2012. Or no, it had to be 2011. Because 2012, they became the Miami Marlins. So if they were still the Florida Marlins, then it had to have been 2011. Because if Freddie Freeman was at first base.
I need to fucking figure this out. Okay, July 29th. God, this is horrible content.
We're looking for a Miami or a Florida Marlins leadoff home run. I'm just gonna look up these key terms. Florida Marlins leadoff home run 2011 versus Braves. June 8th, 2011, Tommy Hanson beats Brad Hand in a pitcher's duel. No, this was a 4th inning home run in a 1-0 game for the Braves. This is tough.
It's tough. I'm kind of.
Did you say you knew the score?
I thought it was like 7-2. Thought it was a blowout.
7-2. This is a tough thing to find, I will say.
Yeah, well, I know the Braves did not win. We could at least go there.
Okay, so the Marlins won. That will help.
Yeah.
Let's see. No. You said it was a leadoff home run by the Marlins?
Yeah.
Damn. I found a Braves first inning run in a game where the Marlins beat them in July 31st. This is really difficult. We should probably stop doing this, though.
Yeah.
I will admit that. All right, we've got one more question. Or actually, I think 2 more. Yeah, 2 more questions. What was your favorite sports dad saying? Example, keep your head down, choke up on the bat. Mine was quit stepping out of the box. I got that one a lot. Early on in my
lean over
career, I would step out on my pitch or on my swing. Yeah, okay, I'll ask you, was your dad one to like tell you, like, if he saw you doing something wrong in a game, was he yelling at you to fix it?
No, he was not a yeller. He was always like,
my dad.
Come pull me over or into the game.
No, my dad for like half the time I played baseball was the coach. So he was right there to yell at me, and I guess so was Nathan and Spencer. Coached me quite a few times, so I pretty much just had my family yelling at me on how to play baseball at all times.
Yeah.
I main one I remember growing up was quit stepping out of the box. Um, I did get some, keep your head down, keep your eye on the ball type things. I think in baseball, there's so many good ones to say.
Yeah,
Baseball has the best.
definitely. Yeah, 100%. It's just the culture.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think of other sport dad sayings.
Oh, release it. That's a good one for soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah, release it.
And you were a defender too, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if you heard me earlier, but lean over was another one that I
Yeah.
got as well.
Makes
Lean
sense.
over the ball.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I can't really think of any others. I do love, like, if there's a dad in the stand, like my dad didn't do this, but if there was a dad in the stands where, like, you jumped out of the way of a pitch, he's like, wear it. That was good.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that, like, your teammates do, but when a dad does it, it's way funnier.
Yeah.
That's really
Wear
good.
it.
You would have, like, I kind of I like the psycho sports parent. Not to say that
Oh,
my
yeah.
dad was one, but he did get ejected from a number of my baseball games. But yeah, the psycho sports dad is kind of it's an entertaining guy. I'll say that.
Yeah.
But like I don't like the dads that like complain about their kids' playing time or whatever. Like you should look, if your son's shit, you should know. Let's be honest. We all know if he's dog shit. And the parent should be the first to know. But yeah, no, I like the dads that'll have a good freak out, yell at the umpires. That's I fuck with that heavy. I will be that guy one day. As much as I get pissed off of my dad about it because he still does it. He'll go to Ethan's football games and just like complain from like 500 feet away from the umpire or the ref, still complaining. I'm like, dude, if he hears whether he hears you yelling at him or not, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But I know for a fact I'm getting mad at him because I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be that guy one day.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be ready for it.
And I hope I am.
Oh yeah. Whether I have a son or a daughter. It'll be way more embarrassing if I have a daughter. But I'll get ejected from a volleyball match or softball game. I ain't scared.
Yeah. No.
I'm not scared at all.
Absolutely not.
Do you remember the first jersey you ever got? I do, vividly.
Troy Polamalu Reebok, baby.
Me and Nathan both got basketball jerseys at Kohl's. Nathan got LeBron James, Cleveland. What? I got Dwayne Wade, Heat. This was well before they were going to get together. What a fucking insane call. Two brothers get Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. That's crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Insane.
Kohl's, though?
How did you got him at Kohl's. I don't know why I remember that part of it.
That must have been, it must have still been an Adidas league at that point.
Yeah, I think it was. I'll give another vivid memory of those jerseys. Nathan had this LeBron James jersey. Awesome. It was like the throwback Cavs look. Like the Cavs look that I think looks so cool. It reminds me of like LeBron and Big Z balling in like 2007 and 8. But
Zaza?
Oh, wait. Jesus. No, Big Z is Drunas Ilgauskas.
Oh, I thought we were talking about other guy.
No, Zaza Pachulia played for the Warriors. He also played for the Hawks. I don't think he played for the Cavs.
Zaza spent time with LeBron.
He could have. He might have. I could be wrong about that. But I think of Big Z. I think of obviously LeBron. But Nathan was wearing this LeBron jersey, and we went to dinner at Ruby Tuesdays. And you can ask Nathan about Ruby Tuesdays. He will never step foot in a Ruby Tuesdays ever again. And we used to go relatively often, and the same thing would happen every single time. He would get something from the salad bar. I believe it was the pumpernickel croutons. And every single time after he ate, he would throw up. And I watched this
in the
man.
Ruby Tuesdays?
Yeah. I watched him lift his LeBron James mesh jersey up and vomit through it.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
God, that's poor Nathan, dude.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sucked. But I don't know why. That's what I remember about the jerseys. First jersey I ever bought for myself. Austin Riley World Series jersey. First time I ever actually bought a World Series or a jersey for myself.
I think I usually would always make jerseys like a Christmas item.
I
I
don't
think
know
the
why I
first
never did. I think it's because I
yeah,
wanted a
I
bunch of
think the
other
first
smaller gifts, and jerseys are expensive.
I think the first jersey I ever had was John Stockton that I ever bought for
Ooh,
myself. It was
cold ass
crazy. Yeah, it was
white
one of the
boy.
throwback jazz ones. Yeah,
I
and
can
that has
respect that one.
since been sold. I never wore it. I
Really?
just always wanted that jersey.
Hmm,
Yeah, it
okay.
was bad. Bad
All right.
financial
That's
decisions.
the end of the questions, but I did say at the beginning of the show why I would talk about why I feel so old. So I'll quickly do that. Um,
Oh yeah.
we've been battling this battle for months now. We've talked about it here on the podcast. The candles were a big thing I was excited about. This one
Uh-huh.
is I think it's a new low.
Yeah.
So I went on Amazon on Saturday because, obviously like Cyber Monday deals or Black Friday through Cyber Monday deals going on. I go on Amazon. I'm like, man, what do I need? Like, what are some things like I've already bought a couple of Christmas gifts, so like not worried about it. I'm kind of waiting until I get paid next Friday, like this coming Friday, to buy some more. So it's like, what's something I could get a good deal on that I need around the house, or I'm gonna something I could get my worth out of. It'll be worth my while to pay for this. I stumble upon vacuum cleaners because I'm like, I gotta keep the room clean, got the house clean. There's a cat that lives in this house that I despise with every fiber of my being, but it's here, and got to clean up after it. So I think a vacuum would be a good choice. Okay, found a good deal on a Shark, reliable ass vacuums. Order that vacuum. I've been so excited. I've been so excited about this vacuum. It's been unbelievable how excited about this vacuum I've been. And I've now told 3 people about my excitement about this vacuum, and all of them have immediately made fun of me.
I
And it's
won't make fun of
fair.
you though.
It's fair. Yeah, no, it's fair. I need to accept that. Okay, I put it together when I got home from my meeting this morning, and like I was like giddy. and
Yeah.
and then I set it in my bedroom and I walked past it about 5 times since I put it together. I've been fiending to use this vacuum. I think
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna take it for a spin either tonight or tomorrow. And
Tonight.
I think I'm gonna have a fucking heyday with this vacuum. And I hate to admit it. I I graduate college next Wednesday, and this vacuum is making me feel like I've been out of college for 20 years.
Dude, I when you told me the story pre-recording, I totally forgot to tell you about this Swifter that I bought. It's the first Swifter I've ever used.
Yeah. Sorry, there was a loud
Pretty
banging
badass.
outside of my door and a ring notification. I think we're all good though. Sorry, continue.
Make sure you're not getting robbed. But
Yeah.
no, I was excited about a Swifter that I bought like a month ago.
Nice.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Smelt good. It was fun to use. I'm gonna get like the old
Yeah.
commercials. It was badass.
Yeah, no,
Loved
like,
it.
dude,
You know the old commercials, right?
oh yeah.
One way or
Or
another.
another. I'm gonna find you. Yeah, I get excited about anything that I order though. Like anything that's coming in the mail, it's like Christmas. Like, dude, I same dayed melatonin. And I was excited when that shit got here.
Nice.
Yeah. Same day. It's like a 300 count bottle of melatonin too.
Oh my
It's
god.
gonna last me. I should get nearly a year out of it.
Are you taking them every night?
Oh yeah, pretty much.
Damn.
Unless I want to lay
You
in
don't-
bed for 4 hours and stare at the ceiling, I'm taking melatonin. It's just
Wow.
how it goes, unfortunately. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. 2 hours and 30 minutes into this recording. Luke, thank you for joining me
Really?
today.
You're welcome.
This flew by. I think it's because we started earlier than usual. That's why it felt like it flew by. Because typically, like, if
Yeah.
we start late, it's like, oh, fuck. Like, we get to the end of the NFL and we're like, oh, shit. It's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we made it through. We had a bit of a long one today, but, nonetheless, we had a good time. That's what matters. Our time here was fantastic. And the way that you can show your appreciation, show that you also had fun with us, is by subscribing here on YouTube and ringing that bell, turn on those post notifications. There might be a video coming out midweek next week that you don't want to miss. Just saying. If you haven't watched it yet, College Football Show, final episode of like the kind of regular season. We're only gonna have one more episode of the College Football Show this year, and it'll be. I've decided it's gonna be Christmas week. I think it'll come out Thursday, so the day after Christmas. Will be the final College Football Show of the year. Everything else will be on the Monday episodes of the podcast for college football coverage. But there might be a video next week where Luke does it. And I think people can probably pick up on the hints based on the time of the year. We did miss. Okay, I'll just say we both kind of got snuck up on by the end of the month and totally forgot about Premier League Team of the Month. But we're likely going to have something coming to you midweek next week.
I just would like to kind of tell the story. So I'm laying in bed 11:30 at night. I just watched Hard Knocks, which we didn't talk about on this episode.
I haven't watched it yet. That's why.
By the way, the first episode. Oh, okay.
I haven't watched
it. Yeah, you're in for a treat. Okay. Mike Tomlin definitely won. But so I get a text from Grayson at like 11:30, and I obviously didn't respond to you at 11:30 because I was getting really tired at this point.
Well, I just finished editing the College Football Show, and I was like, wait a second.
I read your text and I was like, oh shit, like literally the first time it had crossed my mind in a long time. Completely forgot about it. So
it's hard to do a video monthly and remember it. But yeah, we'll get something to you guys next week for the Premier League Team of the Month. But in the meantime, Luke, thank you for joining me today. We had a blast, and make sure you guys show your appreciation. Follow us on Instagram. Join the Second and Short subreddit. If you're on the podcast platforms, rate 5 stars, give us a follow, and always be on the lookout for new stuff coming your way from Second and Short. Luke,
of course,
I will catch you next week to talk about quite a few things going on. Likely a lot of MLB moves that will be covered next week. So got a lot to look forward to there. In the meantime,
we'll be in the stew together.
Yes, and before we see you, we will likely see Premier League Team of the Month come out. So make sure everybody's on the lookout for that. And, of course, I will see you guys on the Monday episode to recap everything we just previewed, well, except the soccer, with Colin, and talk about Conference Championship weekend and the college football playoff, because it will be set by the time we record on Sunday. So much to cover, so much to enjoy. We are in the sports prime right now, in my opinion, when MLB free agency heats up and the playoffs are around the corner, and now we have a brand new era of college football to pay attention to. It is the time to be a sports fan, and we're sharing it with you right here. So make sure you come back. For now, enjoy the weekend, enjoy the football. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Peace.